Let's do this. Get ready for the Dirt Life Show.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 82 of the Dirt Life Show. Thank you guys very, very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you guys as always, man. The Dirt Life Show I didn't even think it was ever going to get to episode 82, but we are on episode 82. We're having a great time. It's been just over a year and a half, and we're stoked, man. Tonight we're going to have a whole bunch of fun. We got Instagram Live going. We got Facebook going. We got YouTube going. It's going to be a really, really great show. We have some fun stuff that we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how the side-by-side community is just so awesome. Everybody's giving back to each other, and, man, I cannot wait to get in deep after our commercial break with our featured guest to my left, none other than Chris Blais, the Dakar podium finisher on a, KTM 690?
Actually, yeah, they were the LC4 engine.
Dude.
So, yeah, we were at 700 cc's.
That's so crazy. He's a pro side-by-side racer now. He's a business owner, and he's just an all-around badass. We're going to get into his story, how he crashed on his motorcycle, how he's overcome all the adversity that he's had, and everything in between. He's got his buddy Jeremy sitting over here. Everybody calls him Jay. What's up, dude?
Not a whole lot.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, yeah.
Well, thanks for helping out, dude. He helped move this car in. I don't know if you guys can see it good on the TV. We'll do a couple different camera angles, but Chris has brought his Can-Am race car in. Dude, this thing is sweet, man. It's so cherry. Like, we want to make fun of him because it's just not dirty enough. And the show is called The Dirt Life, so what the heck, man?
I keep my stuff nice, you know? You got to be ready to race.
Absolutely. So, well, thanks for bringing it down, dude.
Yeah.
All the way from Apple Valley, right?
Yeah.
So this thing is bitching, though. So whenever you guys get a chance, you guys should definitely go over to Chris's social media page. What is it again? It's really long.
Blais Racing Services.
Yeah, Blais Racing Services. And I think there's a couple underscores in between those words, too. So go check it out. If you haven't checked it out yet, you can always go to the Dirt Life Show page. And we linked in him in some stories and some posts, so you guys can go check it out from there. If you guys do get a little bit of noise in the background, it's because we are at IMG Motorsports headquarters in Lake Elsinore, California, and all these guys are loading in, finishing up work for the day, and man, they have so much stuff going on. So thank you to James and the whole crew over here, John and David and everybody over here at IMG Motorsports for letting us have this janky little show and hanging out with them. All right, man. I feel like I talk so much at the beginning of these shows. Anyway, so tonight's show, like I said, we have a lot of fun stuff that we're going to talk about. I always forget to say my name. My name is Georgie Hamill, or George Hamill. Everybody calls me Georgie. And we're going to talk mostly about Chris's story, but we're also going to talk about the side-by-side community and giving back. We got the guys from Dirt Exhibition that are going to be joining us on Instagram Live around 5:15, and those guys have a really cool project they're calling Project 144. That's it's really amazing. They're giving back to this kid named Connor. They bought a Polaris RZR. They're going to build it, and they're going to give it back to him. So I won't spoil the story. I'm going to let them tell it, but please pay attention to that. We're going to start at 5:15. And, man, I just can't wait. Like, whenever we get a moto guest in the studio, I'm always stoked because that's where I came from. That's where a lot of you guys came from. And, man, it's just really cool to see the transition in the side-by-side industry and the growth to be able to get all of these professionals that used to do something on two wheels now on four wheels.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it a lot different doing it on four wheels than two for you?
There's just a lot more work, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know what's funny is we always talk about that. Jay can actually probably agree with this, but, like, usually, if you add two more wheels, it's double the amount of work. Not in side-by-sides. It's like 10 times the amount of work somehow.
Yeah, it's probably at least 4 or 5 times for sure.
It's just crazy how much it escalates, right?
And it takes a whole crew instead of one person.
Exactly. Well, back in the day when you had, I say back in the day like it was a long time ago, but when you had your dirt bike racing career, you had a whole team though still, right?
So we had a whole team, but I pretty much did, besides the rally stuff, I built all my own race bikes. I planned all my own events and pretty much did everything. They just supplied me the bikes, money, and parts, and I handled the rest myself. I always wanted to learn all the aspects of racing and be able to do it on my own, which helped me especially when I got hurt.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because it puts you in the real mix, like the total. You're encapsulated in every single aspect of it.
Every aspect, I wanted to know as much about my sport as I could. So,
Yeah.
Everybody knows dirt bike racing isn't going to last forever when
Yeah.
you're a professional. So you try to, it's like I'd like to move. I need to know how to manage the race,
Yep.
manage the team, manage the riders. And I just kind of took that part while I was racing, and it all worked out.
It's really crazy to hear all those things, because almost every racer, I think, nowadays, in side-by-sides, if they're a beginner racer, they got to learn all the stuff. If they're an expert racer, they really have an easier time transitioning over into the side-by-sides when they know that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know, and you have to be able to plan and work everything out. Just the cars take a lot more people and team, and then myself being in the wheelchair takes a few extra people to be around also.
Yeah, 100%. I can definitely see how that could be a different, work ethic or work harder in itself. Yeah, so we do have some stuff in common with that being injured, but I want to get into your story big time. Let's just thank all of our sponsors before we get the Dirt Exhibition guys on the line here. So first and foremost, thank you everybody for watching. You guys are the ones that are our lifeblood. You guys are the ones that make this show tick. So I really appreciate all you guys, and you guys sliding into our DMs and messaging us during the week, telling us how much you appreciate the show. We've had some people that have actually contributed to the show, which was fantastic, man. I'm not going to say who it was, because then everybody's going to be asking for contributions. But thank you very much to the people. You know exactly who you are. You've definitely helped the Dirt Life show get bigger and grow, so we really appreciate it. You can always check us out on Facebook and YouTube live every single Monday night at 5 o'clock California time, Pacific time. What is it now? I think it's 3 hours for back east, so it's a 3-hour separation. But and you can always check us out or listen to us on the archives. I call them the archives because they're recorded audio shows on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, everywhere. Pretty much every single place you can get consume your audio at. So check us out anytime you guys want. Thank you guys very much for really getting our iTunes numbers up. You guys have helped immensely. iTunes is just growing and growing and growing exponentially, so we really appreciate it. Thank you very much to everybody at KMC Wheels, man. They have been a huge supporter of the Dirt Life and our program. I even think they're a supporter of your program, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They've been a big supporter.
Yeah.
Some awesome stuff.
Who do you deal with over there? Some dude named Ryan?
Yeah, some dude named Ryan.
Ryan was actually over here a little earlier today dropping off a Honda Talon.
I'm sure he gets tired of emails. Come on, where's some wheels at?
Yeah.
I'm tearing stuff up again.
Hurry up, man.
It's like, dude, I drive every week a lot, so.
Do you guys do any like type of practicing?
We've been testing since Parker every week, at least once, sometimes twice in a week.
Really? In the same car?
In this car, we've been doing a lot of suspension development and just getting it to where I want it and I want to be and I think we can be. And I think we've made huge strides. We probably got more done than most people do in a whole year.
That's freaking awesome, man. You know what I like about that work ethic is that a lot of guys that are in side-by-side racing, they don't consider it the same as like how you would in your motocross or your motorcycle racing career, right? Like they in dirt bikes, you practice all the time. You beat your practice bike to death.
I used to ride at least 3 times a week.
That's what I'm saying.
And I don't know how these guys just go out and show up at a race and expect to be on point.
Yeah, exactly. So
to the level that they should be.
It's totally different mentality, right? Do you feel the same way, Jay?
Yeah. Oh, big time. The amount of work that Chris puts in is ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
I don't think I'm pretty dedicated to racing, but
not as much
as him.
So that's one of the things, though, that really gets you those sponsors. And thank you to the guys over at Zollinger Racing Products, who is also a supporter of your program as well.
Oh, yeah, those guys are awesome. Make some incredible products.
If you want to have some stuff for your Can-Am, just like what Chris has back here, we also have a side cover for a Can-Am up there on the toolbox that Zollinger made out of, I think it was a 3-axis or 4-axis machine. You can always go to ZollingerRacingProducts.com. You can use the code DIRTLIFE, and you can save a whole bunch of money on any of the orders that you have over there. Please tell them that Dirt Life sent you if you give them a call, and Travis and all of his boys over there will help you out and get your car dialed in. Thank you to the guys at EFX Tires for always supporting the show. Ryan Guidus and everybody over there has done an amazing job getting not only my car, but a lot of racers' cars all dialed in with some awesome tires. We'll get into your sponsors a little bit later too, Chris. And thank you to the guys at Shock Therapy. Justin has always been a supporter of the show. He's a fantastic human, and he has all kinds of awesome people working over there. It's one of those companies that you want to support just because of the people, and they do fantastic work. So please go and check out shocktherapist.com and use the code DIRTLIFE, save a whole bunch of money. And like I said before on numerous shows, you can always give them a call and tell them that the Dirt Life sent you, and those guys at the front will help you out. Get your car scheduled to get the shocks service dialed in. You can buy whatever parts you want over there too. Thank you to the guys at Cryo Heat. I'm wearing my nice new clean white shirt, Cryo Heat shirt. Josh and the guys over there at Cryo Heat, they do fantastic treatments, all kinds of different metals. One of the things that most people usually purchase over there are Pro Mod transmissions for Polaris, and they're fantastic. I forgot what it is. I need to ask Josh, but I think it's like a 25 or 30% weight reduction, maybe 15% weight reduction in the whole transmission because of what they do to the gears. It's less rolling resistance, which Chris knows a lot about because it creates more horsepower in these underpowered UTVs. So, yeah, go call Josh over at Cryo Heat, and they can get you dialed in with anything that you guys need over there. And finally, thanks to the guys over at Solderweld. The guys at Solderweld are fantastic guys. Thank you to Lance and Vanessa and everybody over there for always being a part of the show. You can get your own off-road repair kit. You can get a welding blanket just like the one that we have here on the set, and use the code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com and save a whole bunch of money on their products as well. So, man, I got done 2 minutes early, so I'm not talking as much as I thought I was, right? So, first of all, thank you guys very much for driving down from Apple Valley.
Yeah, no problem. It's nice to get out of the shop a little bit.
Yeah, you guys are really, really busy in the shop, aren't you?
We've been really busy. A lot of engines, a lot of dirt bike motors coming in. Keeping the car running, getting ready for all the races.
So
Long nights.
A lot of races.
Long
nights.
Yeah, exactly. So for anybody that doesn't know, Chris not only does the stuff on his race program, but he also helps others as well. You guys work on all kinds of different engines though, right?
I pretty much, we do dirt bikes, but I've been doing a lot of Can-Am engines now for some team guys and just keeping.
Since you're knowledgeable about them?
Yeah, well, I'm taking enough of my own apart now to play with, and you kind of figure it out. So.
Yeah, exactly. So now that you're the expert at it, so people are trying to get the same tricks as what you got?
Oh, you can't do too many things. The motors are so good, they're very impressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of the box. The
guys over at X Travel just commented in and says, how does handlebar racing translate both athletes to success in side-by-side racing?
I think it's just the hardcore dedication, especially from a dirt bike rider's point of view. They got to work really hard all the time, no matter what. And just getting in the car, physically, it's a little bit easier, but the amount of work in the shop is ridiculous. So if you're not fully committed, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to happen.
It's got to be for real. The guy at PRP says, the guys at PRP said, yo. I think we're probably going to talk to them in about 10 minutes or so here, probably around 5:25. So we'll let the guys from Dirt Exhibition come in first before we talk to the PRP guys. But, yeah, man, it's going to be really cool to talk about that stuff. When you guys got, I guess, Chris, when you transitioned from 2 wheels to 4 wheels or to side-by-side racing more specifically, how was it? Did everybody accept you in the community?
I was pretty accepted, but it's just different. It's a different group of people.
100%.
I had built all my relationships in the dirt bike field, and there's just different exhaust companies, different tire companies. Not a lot of that translated over. So people that knew my background, I think, understood and wanted to be a part of it and help, but some had no idea.
Yeah, it's a little bit different,
so
right?
It's different, yeah.
But what about the general exception of everybody? Usually it's pretty good because everybody in the side-by-side community cares so much about each other and their racing programs, right?
Oh, yeah. Everybody helps everybody. I don't mind. I'll tell anybody any secrets that we have. It's just I enjoy the competition. That's why I race.
Yeah, the competition aspect of it is the best part, right?
Yeah, that is the best part.
So we're going to get the guys from Dirt Exhibition on here in just a second, and then we'll have understand their story that they're having with this Project 144. It's a super cool story, man. So let's get it going here. There we go. What's up, Brandon and Rich? How are you guys doing? Can you guys hear us? I'm having a little trouble hearing you guys. It doesn't sound like we have them on the audio here. You can kind of hear him on the TV. Well, it doesn't sound like we have him on the audio here on the program. So we'll just go ahead and keep it going with Instagram Live. It doesn't sound like we're going to be able to get him on Facebook and YouTube, but that's okay. We'll just keep it going. So what's up, guys? How are you guys doing? Oh, man, the audio is really sucking right now. Yeah, no problem. Will you guys give us 2 seconds here? I'm going to actually get a cable and plug it in right now. While I'm doing that, will you guys talk about the last race that you guys did together? And maybe actually, you know what? Talk about the race that you guys won. Wasn't it a DB4 race?
DB4.
Yeah. Maybe you and Jeremy can talk about that a little bit and let the audience know about how fun that race was.
Yeah, DP4 has been doing a really good job. They've actually grown really big this year. I mean, we never had over 65 entries last year, and then the first round there was 80-something cars, I think almost 90 cars. In this last race, there was a good 125 race cars, which was very impressive. We got lucky, and we got a third draw for the race, so that was awesome. We got rolling, and we just held a good pace. We got the lead on the first lap, and we just kind of kept it going from there. There's some guys trying to chase us down, but a lot of cars were braking. We're out in Johnson Valley, and it's really rough out there. You know, people think it's just a little local race, but
it shows that how much prep goes into the cars and stuff like that. That's one of the biggest things is the prep. I think the amount of time you spend putting into a car, that's what shows at the end of the day is who can prep a car and I guess even hold it together. Chris does a pretty good job of that.
Yeah, we do a lot of work. We do a lot of suspension work and a lot of testing. And my buddy Tom Morris, he's like one of the keys behind our whole program.
Yeah,
with just about everything.
Yeah,
everything we have problems with, any question, the guy has so much knowledge and experience. It's just, you know, your success basically revolves around who you have on your team and part of your team and, you know, the experience involved in all the years, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah, the amount of work that you guys put in is phenomenal, too. I wasn't able to actually fix the Instagram Live and get the audio coming into the system. It's okay, though. We're going to go and buy a new cable. This stuff happens, right? So the Dirt Exhibition guys can probably hear us pretty good. I don't know if you guys can hear us pretty good, Brendan, but go ahead and speak up, and we'll have a little bit of fun here on Instagram Live. Oh, did they already bail out? Dude, Instagram Live is killing me today.
Technology sometimes, right?
This last race was one of the roughest courses that we've done.
Was it really?
But, yeah, it was probably one of the best, the car that worked the best.
Yeah, our car worked the best.
Is it because you guys put in more effort into the actual event or into the preparation for the event?
Yeah,
it's nonstop. It's nonstop for us.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, always.
What's up, boys? How you guys doing? I don't think we're going to have very good audio on our end, but please let's just get into the Project 144. It looks like we have a little bit of slow connection with you guys, too. Can you guys hear us, Brendan?
Yeah, all right. So,
looks like we got a little bit of a slow connection with those guys. I know.
can hear you. Can we keep going?
Yeah, please do. We're definitely having a hard time having any reception with you guys. I don't know what kind of internet connection those guys have over there. I'm just going to go ahead and give you guys a little bit of an insight on what those guys are doing. Those guys have a fantastic project. They're calling it Project 144. Brendan and his colleague Rick over there have, let's see here, Rich the Plumber. Let's see if this one works a little bit better. Rich the Plumber sounds like a pretty good Instagram name too, doesn't it? Man, I hate when all these technical difficulties happen. Why can't it just be smooth? Yeah, they have a fantastic project going. It's called Project 144. And how's it going, boys?
Hey, can you guys hear us?
Yeah, it's much better now. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, sorry about that. technology's a great thing when it works.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like you guys have pretty good audio on your end. I don't know what the deal is with the cable over here, but it's okay. We're going to keep the show going. So tell us a little bit about Project 144 that you guys have going.
Yeah, so it all started when we just wrapped up one razor project and we were looking for another. So we were just like looking for a project, we were looking for something to rebuild. And so I was just, one day on Facebook Marketplace, just looking to see what was around, what was available, just kind of, scrolling through. And I ended up finding this one machine. It was a 2016 Razor Turbo that it was advertised as it was being parted out. And we were looking at it. We kind of we're not really sure why it was being parted out and why it's on Facebook Marketplace. But I ended up on the phone with the lister. His name is Connor, Connor. And ended up on the phone with him. And he kind of started explaining the story, explaining what was wrong with it, right? Blown motor, needed some axles, needed a bunch of stuff. And so we're like, yeah, well, we're looking for a project, so that's cool because, we'll do the work. And, of course, I asked the question of, why are you selling it? And that's kind of where it gets into, the deep part of the story. And before we kind of get into that, this is a really cool thing that we're doing, but at the same time, it's also kind of a serious thing that happened with his family, so we want to keep it respectful and as respectful as possible. So he started telling me the story about how his father bought the machine. It was supposed to be a project for the two of them, and they were supposed to rebuild it, and it was going to be one of those things where they ride together. And so I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. And then he started explaining to me the story a little further about how his father, got into an accident and then had some injuries resulting in that accident. So he's telling me the story, and I'm on the phone with him, and I'm like, okay, that sounds like a step back. Like okay, I understand. Like that's why you might want to sell the project. And then he explains to me what actually happened after that, which was that his father tragically passed away as a result of his injuries. And so then that's when I was on the phone with him. That's when it hit me, and I'm sitting there like, okay, we're looking for a project, and I'm hearing this story, and it was like a punch in the gut because I don't have kids, but Rich has kids, and we have families, and that you can kind of feel for him when he kind of explains that story. So I said, all right, Connor, I'll tell you what. I said, I'm going to call Rich. We'll put together an offer and call you back with the number.
Yeah, and it was just like buying the UTV. It wasn't anything other than that. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, so I hang up with Connor, and I call Rich. And me and Rich are on the phone for like 2 minutes. I explained to him the story, and so he starts explaining the story to me and just kind of telling me what's going on. And it was like instantly it clicked. It was like, boom, dude, like we know what we have to do. Like we have to, what if we put this machine, and what if we could rebuild it, and what if we could somehow give it back to this kid, And like Brendan said, I have 2 kids, I'm 29, my son's 10, we ride razors. He's got an Ace 570, it's just, I remember growing up with my dad having all those memories and having the opportunity to make those with my kids. And to think that there was someone out there who, wasn't going to get to finish that and wasn't going to get those opportunities, it hit hard.
Yeah, 100%.
Literally, guys, we're on the phone, and mind you, this razor is being advertised as for sale. So we're like, all right, well, we're going to have to buy this thing. We're going to have to buy it. We're going to have to rebuild it and somehow try to give it back to him. So literally, we made the decision. We talked to Connor. We went back and forth for a couple of days, had to get paperwork rolling. And then we made the trip. I know you guys. 1 second. So what happened was we decided on a number. I said, okay, so I'm going to call Connor back and I'm going to give him an offer. So I call him back, and I feel bad talking about it now, but I get him on the phone and I start beating him up on the price to knock the price down even more. And in my head, I'm like, dude, just say yes. I'm like, you have no idea what's going to happen. Just say yes, please. You know what I mean? And but I'm beating him up on the price, and I think I got him down a little bit, and then you could tell he didn't want to get rid of the project. You could tell he just really didn't want to, and I'm just like, dude, just say yes, please. And so he was kind of hesitant, and I said, okay. I came up like $200, and I was like, listen, I'll come out $200. Let's commit. You commit not to sell it to anybody else. I'll commit to stop looking for a project, and then we'll work it out, and then we'll get it. And unfortunately, he said yes, and then it took about a week, I think, because he had to get some paperwork situated, and it took about a week for us to pick it up. But so that the whole time in our head, like we were like right off the bat, we're committed. Like we're gonna do this. Like we committed before figuring out a plan as to how we were gonna do it. And that was like the crazy part of it. We're just like, we want to give this razor back to this kid. We want to finish the project that his father started. We'll figure out how, but let's commit to it right now, and then let's get it going. So, I mean, that was pretty much, that was it. From there, we scheduled a day to pick it up, and we went and picked it up. And that was a cool day, too, because we got to meet his family. We got to meet his mom and stepdad. And, I mean, right off the bat, I can just remember just pulling into the driveway how cool they were and just how welcoming they were and how nice they were. And at the same time, that makes this all worth it, because it's one thing if you're doing a massive project and you're going to give a razor back to a kid like that, and like you want to know if he deserves it or not. Like I don't know if that's a thing, should be a thing, but it was kind of something we were thinking about. Like, does this kid, does he deserve it?
Yeah. So when you see him and meet him for the first time, it's probably really refreshing.
And everybody else just made so much sense. What was that, George?
When you meet him for the first time and see his family, it's probably pretty refreshing to get your mind cleared of that and just be like, wow, you know what, this is actually a great thing to do.
It was. It felt right. I think that's the only way I can explain it, is that it just felt right. It was like, okay, we're on the path. This is what we should, this is what we set out to do. It's falling into place. It's working. So it's like, cool. Let's do this. And like I said, we talked about him, and we talked to him about the and everything else, and we loaded it up on the trailer, and then we have it. It's actually, I mean, it's actually.
Oh, so you guys are actually going to be working on that right this second, huh?
Yeah. So we actually got it stripped all the way down to the frame. We did that over the weekend. So we literally just have pile of parts and frames in the shop right now. Yeah, frame, the powder coat, and then we're going to completely rebuild it up from there.
So all of us sitting here in the studio, like we're used to that same type of work ethic, taking razors and Can-Ams and all kinds of different side-by-sides down to nuts and bolts, right?
Pretty much.
But the cool part about this one, though, is that he's doing it for somebody else. Like we do it for ourselves, right? But he's doing it for somebody else.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Hey, so funny story, right? I got a 2019 Turbo S, and I've been nursing a flat tire for like the past 2 years. Hold on a second, I got to bust out my compressor. I fill my tire up, get it good. I'm like, all right, let's roll. So I've literally been nursing this friggin' tire for months because I'm just too lazy to break the bead and reset it. And then I'm over here working on somebody else's machine, stripping all the way down to the frame.
That's what you get, dude. Karma.
Yeah. What do they say? The best mechanic, his car always runs the worst.
The best mechanic's car always runs the worst. That's a good one. I like that. Oh, man. I'm so stoked that you guys are doing this and giving back to the side-by-side community, and not just the side-by-side community in general. Like it's just, like you said, it started off as a project that you guys were just going to buy a car on Craigslist or Facebook, wherever, and then just fix it up, right? And it turned into this great I don't know what you want to call it, thing with the side-by-side industry. It's awesome. Project 144 is definitely going to help show people that you can give back to the community, and it's going to help change Connor and his family's life, because they'll have a piece of their father rolling around with them, man. They can go out there and shred. I don't know if what do you think Dad will say when he goes out there and launches it over a huge jump?
Hopefully he sends it, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. Big hope.
I definitely hope that he does that as well. Hey, so I got a message that just came in from on my cell phone from a personal message that came from the guys at Rugged Radios, and they just said that they're really stoked on all the stuff that you're doing, and they would like to donate a kit for Connor's car.
No way, dude.
Yeah, man, that's pretty sick, right? So we'll have to talk with those guys and get all of that stuff lined up. But what communication system do you use in your car?
We're running PCI.
PCI. So PCI and Rugged are obviously competitors, but they make a lot of the same stuff, and that'll be really cool because anytime Connor wants to talk to anybody in the car or outside of the car, he can have communication with them and help them out. So thank you very much to the guys at Rugged Radios for offering that up, man.
That's awesome.
That is super cool. Those kits are pretty pricey too, so that's awesome that they're offering up for that build.
Well, that was one of the things too. Like when we got the machine, we were sitting down, and we were kind of talking about, but we started our whole channel. We have a YouTube channel. We started our whole channel because we love side by sides. We love riding. We're from New England, so we're in New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. Like that's our stomping ground is up there, and England. And so it was just one of those things that we love the experience so much, so we just want to share the experience of the people. And so when this project came around, it's like, hey, listen, like we started this to share the experience of people, and now we find an opportunity to do something crazy, like in something huge for one of our own, for someone who likes to ride and loves the experience as well. So we're like, that's just what made it make sense for us. You know what I mean? It was just like, this is us. This is what we do. This is what we enjoy. We want to spread that. We want everybody to get into it if they can. You know what I mean? That's kind of what we do is really hype it up around here. So.
Well, yeah, and being in New England too. I mean, like it's not quite. I talked to you a little bit earlier this week, Brendan, about some stuff, and for us, it's pretty easy since we live on the West Coast. We can go to the dunes, we can go hit trails, like all that stuff. It's a little different for those guys when they want to go riding. But it's cool that they're showcasing how you can actually go do it back there. And I'm glad that some of the companies out here on the West Coast are interested in your project, like Rugged, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you guys get all the dunes out there. Up here, we got some really gnarly, tight trails.
That's cool. Connor's gonna go shred those tight trails. I can't wait to see what he does with this thing, man. Like, hey, it's cool that you guys are doing this for him, but honestly, I know all of us sitting here are like drivers and riders. We just want to see him go tear it up, right?
100%. We're jealous because this machine is going to be like 1,000 times better than ours.
Connor's going to be out there. You're going to be like, hey, Connor, let's go for a ride, and he just dusts you guys. Yeah, exactly. What kind of stuff are you going to be doing to this thing, man?
So, it started off small, but the amount of people that have reached out, the amount of people that have gotten involved, it's really humbling. It's completely blown us away. We expected that some people might want to kick in and be a part of it, but again, we literally have people from all over the industry. We stripped this thing down to the frame. We got people jumping in, wanting to help out. We're gonna do powder coat in the frame. We're going to be doing new cage. One thing that we're on the hunt for right now is a good remanufactured engine or something. Because when they told us that this thing needed an engine, he didn't tell us that some of it was in this crate.
The pieces.
Nice basket case.
I don't even know if anyone will accept this thing for its charge.
Dude, I'm getting a lot of messages here, and actually I just got a message from Justin at Shock Therapy, not to get too personal, but he was at the dentist and his lip is too numb to actually call in, but he said that he would really like to be a part of the project as well. What kind of suspension does that thing have on it?
So right now it's running a set of the factory Polaris Block Evans turbo shocks that come on some of the newer machines. Back in 2016 when these things came out, they had the big remote reservoir Fox shock.
Yep.
But this one came over to us with
a little bit more dialed in.
I think somewhere, because I don't know who, but it's how we bought it. I think they switched out the shocks.
Well, that's cool. I know that Justin and his team over there at Shock Therapy work on everything. I know that they prefer Fox, but they're definitely a Walker Evans. They can dial those things in big time, get them serviced up, get them revalved and stuff like that. And so Justin just said that he'll take care of whatever you guys need to get those shocks dialed in for Connor, man. That's super, super cool that people are jumping on board for you guys.
This kid's going to be so stoked.
Dude,
I know.
Can you imagine, like, these guys are going to
have he lost it.
Honestly,
he's probably thinking he lost it.
Connor's going to waste you guys out there, dude.
I'm gonna get a 200 shot, I think.
I know, right? Hey, but that's super cool. So thank you very much to Justin over at Shock Therapy for chiming in, watching the show, and letting these guys know that he's on board to help out with whatever you guys need. That's super, super cool, man. That's side-by-side industry. Every time this stuff happens, it amazes me.
Yeah, everyone's always just so willing to help out, man. Like I said, this whole thing's just been incredible. The amount of people that have reached out, Connor's family has reached out. We've gotten so many messages. It's unbelievable. We thank you guys.
Yeah, that's another thing too, because since we started doing this, we told Connor, just so you know too, like he has no idea what it's gonna look like. So yeah, I think he's watching this right now.
Oh, what's up, Connor?
Probably gonna be some rugged radio stuff and some Shock Therapy stuff. Like, now, Connor. Sorry, but there's a lot of other stuff that we're not showing him. So we're gonna reveal it to him once the entire build is done. And the cool thing about this whole thing too is that like we've been getting tons of messages from his family's friends, his friends, his
his own family, like, and they're telling us about his father, they're telling us about their relationship, and it's just been really cool. Because again, kind of like what I said before, it just we're learning about who these people are, and the more that we talk to people, we're learning that these are great people.
Man, it really hits you in the heart, dude. You know?
So many
Yeah.
from so many walks of life, you know, we all kind of share the same passion for moto, you know, UTVs, side by sides.
Yeah, the whole off-road community, it's like a family. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's super cool, man. Like, I mean, just the stuff that's happening right now for Connor, I mean, like, that just shows how good of a community side-by-side racing is. And that's why I wanted to start it off by asking Chris, you know, like, how he was accepted into side-by-side racing. You know, he's probably not accepted quite as good now since he already beats all the dudes out there. But, hey, it's all right. So, I'm super stoked to see what happens. I know you don't want to give too much away because Connor's probably watching right now. Hi, Connor. I hope you and your family are having an awesome week, man. We hope you enjoy the side-by-side and the Project 144 when it gets back to you, bud. That's super cool that this project is taking place.
Yeah, and we also talked about it once before too, George. Something that was actually pretty cool with this whole project that we've kind of been working with in terms of the channel and whatnot. There's been a lot of coincidences that have kind of been happening, and one of them being is that this project was advertised as the 2016 turbo with a blown motor, and Rich had a 2016 turbo, the same exact like graphics, it's the same color, almost the same machine, and you actually had to do like a ton of work to it. So it was kind of like that. It was weird because it was like we have an opportunity now to do something really good for this kid, and it's something that we've already done with the same exact machine. So it was like that's it, man. That's the sign, you know.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. And we had, well, it sounds like it's Skeeter65 said Connor's dad is my brother. I can't thank you, everyone that is involved in this project enough. This message, this means so much to our family. Chris is drinking a Twisted Tea right now, laughing at all of us. So it sounds like Twisted Tea was his drink of choice, I guess, huh?
Or a tall boy, because the tall boys too.
Tall boys, that's what he's into?
That's kind of an inside thing with us and our group. Is two at a time, Twisted Teas. Yeah. So.
That's funny, man. Are those Twisted Teas any good? You guys drink or anything? No.
I heard they hit hard, though.
Do they? They put you in the dirt? That's hilarious.
They haven't sent me any tea yet, but if they want to, the originals are just fine.
The Twisted Teas. It sounds like he's actually going to be pretty pumped when he sees Connor send this thing through the air or flying through a berm or something. Would you guys have pretty sweet trails out there in New England?
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot up here. We actually had Camp Razor up here a couple years ago up in New Hampshire. So that's probably like a 3-hour ride for us.
Oh, so it was pretty big or what?
Yeah, I mean, up here we have the Ride the Wilds trail system in New Hampshire. It's over 1,000 miles of all interconnected trails. There's a couple of towns up here, too, that allow you to operate your side-by-side on the road as long as you have an off-road registration, which to you guys might not seem like a big deal, but, you know, if you know anything about Massachusetts, you know, this side of the country, man, it leans one way, and it usually doesn't lean towards fun, you know what I mean?
So you know what California's like.
He sees on Instagram what California is like.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Twisted Tea was his go-to.
Definitely gonna get up there with Connor. We're definitely gonna send this machine, and we're just looking forward to it. I mean, the cool thing about around here is you get to go really fast, and it's like tree.
Dude, I don't do
don't
good.
screw up.
You know they
know?
good in
No
the trees.
mistakes.
Oh.
Do you guys do good in the trees? Because they scare the shit out of me.
No, I've been trying to get up there and do a GNCC race on one of the big 4-wheel drive quads, but I just can't. I don't know how they go that fast in the trees.
It's like
ridiculous.
just dodging death the whole time.
All I remember is Cal City racing next to the power poles that were like 2 feet away from you going about 90 miles an hour. That was scary enough.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it's
shit.
yeah, and those don't move. I mean, and the trees don't move either, but.
Oh, wow, look at – yeah, I don't know if you guys just saw the comment that came in, too. PRP Seats just jumped on. Justin and Aaron over there at PRP Seats looked like they said, hey, guys, I've been listening to your guys' story. We'd love to contribute harnesses, storage, and steering wheel for the project. Dude, that's awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah.
That's super cool. Man, dude, he's getting dialed in. Like, I'm kind of jealous of Connor already,
Oh,
dude.
it's all good, right?
That's super, super cool, though, man.
Get him back in action.
Thank you to the guys at PRP Seats for doing that. That is awesome that they're able to contribute.
Yeah, PRP is the way to go, man. That's the only way to go. So that's awesome. Thank
Those guys, hey, and just a little promotion for me. We just did a tour over there at PRP Seats. Aaron let us come in and do like a whole shop tour. It's badass. So if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out either on Facebook or YouTube, man. It was awesome to go.
I jumped on. It was one of the videos I found.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Much love from the guys at PRP Seats. So keep up the good work, Brendan and Rich. You guys are doing awesome.
Thanks, man. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you taking the time to have us on. You know, I mean, this just shows how big the side-by-side community really is.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing that really gets to me, man. We're not a big show. We just have fun talking off-road stuff with these awesome guests. But I have people always ask me, dude, I want to come on your show. I'm the best ever, right? And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, give me a break. Like, and then when you guys came on, you're like, hey, you know what? We're doing this awesome project. We're giving back. We're showing what the side-by-side community is all about. That's a completely different way to be accepted into something like this. So I really appreciate you guys coming at us with something positive and sending a good message. So this is really, really cool to see it. It's awesome. I mean, 3 people just jumped on board: PRP, Rugged, and Shock Therapy. You guys are obviously on the right track.
That's unbelievable. Like I said, we're just so thankful, man. We really appreciate it. You know, we appreciate all those guys. I mean, those are all guys that we deal with all the time, you know, for our own cars. I mean, we're always buying Shock Therapy, PRP, Rugged radios. I haven't got a Rugged radio yet, but let me tell you something. When you hang up, I got to get one now. That way I can talk to you.
Yeah. You can. Hey, Connor, slow down a little bit. You're way too far ahead of us, bro. Well, thank you guys. So what's the next steps on the project before we hang up?
So I think the big thing now we're going through is we're placing.
Oh, real quick, the guys at PRP said please message them afterwards.
Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate it. So, and it's convenient that they're jumping on now because, again, we're kind of in the stages where we're buying a lot of the stuff. You know, we're going through our parts list, we're going through our budget, we're trying to see where we're going to go, what we're going to buy, start getting the stuff ordered. Like Brendan mentioned, you know, the machine's stripped down to the frame. We're going to have the custom cage built off the frame right now, and then all that stuff's going to go to powder coat. And then, I mean,
Dude, they're doing it up.
Yeah.
Don't fold.
Like a full
Bottom
build,
up,
right?
yeah.
Dude, that's rad, man.
Mad props to you guys. That's awesome.
this is going to be so freaking sick, but again, I know Connor's watching, so.
Just wait till you got to put that wiring back in.
Yeah. Connor, dude, don't pretend like you didn't watch this. It's gonna come back. It's gonna be all janky. Don't have any expectations, dude. Like, that is super cool, man. I'm really stoked to see this project. Do you guys have a project deadline, or are you guys just gonna kind of see where it goes?
So the biggest thing that we're going to deal with right now is lead times. I mean, some of the stuff that we've ordered, you know, people have helped.
I hate to interrupt again, but the guys over at Desert Squadron, they do. Do you know the guys over at Desert Squadron, John Lewis? They do first aid trauma kits and things like that, and they're offering some trauma kits to be able to put in there as well, it looks like. So if you guys want to do that, I think that would be a fantastic idea to have. I always have a first aid kit on my UTV, no matter what. People get hurt somehow. I don't know how it happens, but
I don't know. It's this racing thing.
but I think it would be awesome for the Desert Squadron guys to jump on board with the project to get Connor all dialed in. So if anything does happen out on the trail with Brendan or Rich, he can fix them.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's always good. Typically, when we go for rides too, I mean, we're 4 or 5 hours away. You know, if we're up in the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. So that would be huge.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. Thank you very much to the Desert Squadron boys and John Lewis for volunteering for that stuff too. That's super cool, man. See, you guys are doing some awesome stuff, man. Most guys that submit resumes can't even get this much attention. So please keep doing stuff for this good karma, man. It's really, really cool. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rich. I saw the comment come through and I didn't want it to pass. So keep going, bud.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I don't think words can explain how grateful we are and appreciative we are, because at the end of the day, like we have said it before, by the end of the day, we're just two dudes that love UTVs and love riding, and and we're not a massive company working with a massive budget or anything like that. So any help that we're getting is amazing. It's we're very grateful for it, and we're just trying to keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, keep up the good work, boys. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and we can't wait to see what huge smile that Connor has on his face when you guys are done with this project. So keep us in the loop. Yeah, keep us in the loop and let us know. You tag us in your stories and stuff as you guys make progress with it, because we'd love to share it on our channels as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to have to come out and see you guys. We're going to have to go riding out there. I've never been to the dunes. I've always wanted to go.
What do you think these guys from New England would do out in Glamis?
I don't know. They're
think
like,
they'd
where's
have-
all the
I hate the
trees?
dunes. I hate
You
the
know
dunes.
what?
I hate it with a passion.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, our
We've
dune
had
experience is
issues.
Sonora
Yeah.
dunes. Those are the real deal.
Yeah.
Not a
so
fan.
Glamis is fun though for the guys from New England.
Yeah.
They'll be fun. They'll have a good time. We can have some Twisted Teas on hand though as well, and make a little bit of a tribute weekend out of it. So yeah, boys, whenever you guys get a chance, we'd love to have you out in the West Coast.
Yeah, we got to make a trip this summer.
It's this. You don't want to go to the summer in the dunes. You never do want to do that. It's like 120, 130 out there, dude. Yeah, we'll call it the winter. That'll be like your guys' summer in the winter out here on the West Coast.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
55 to get a t-shirt and shorts on,
I would never be able to. Chris and I were just
I might
talking
go.
before the. Yeah, we were just talking before the show. We crank the heater on when it's like 75 degrees out. We're spoiled living in California. Yeah, so the Dune Destroy guys said we're echoing pretty bad, so we'll let you guys go. We really appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining us on Instagram Live. Like I said, you guys are doing a fantastic job. You got any questions or comments?
Yeah,
before they
keep
leave?
it up, you guys. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Get
it's
people
amazing
back
what you're
out there
doing.
what they should be doing.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Really appreciate it. It means a lot.
And thank you to all the guys that volunteered as well to help with the project. Thank you to the guys at Shock Therapy. Justin's always been a huge contributor to side-by-side industry. The guys at PRP Seats, clearly they're going to donate a whole bunch of stuff. The guys at Rugged Radios with their whole system, and the Desert Squadron guys with the trauma kits and things like that. It's awesome that they can be a part of this as well. So keep up the good work, boys. We really appreciate it. Have a great night over there.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys.
All right. We're going to sign off on Instagram Live in just a second here because we're going to go to a commercial break. But that's really cool that those guys are doing that project, man. Like, that's why I started off the show understanding what the side-by-side industry accepted you guys as, because it's pretty clear the side-by-side industry is unlike any other.
Dude, it's awesome. I mean, get people back out with their, doing what they love to do.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great.
Excuse
Makes me almost tear up a little bit.
I know,
'Cause
right?
I couldn't be here either without everybody pitching in.
It's pretty rad. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back.
Shock Therapy, the premier UTV suspension tuning company. We test daily with the leading manufacturers in the industry to perfect our shock tunes and race-proven components for all UTVs. Whether it's high-speed racing or slower trails, we have a suspension tune that is perfect for your driving style. Visit shocktherapist.com to improve your ride today.
You ready to test these tires out? I was born ready. Let it rip.
Zollinger Racing builds the best aftermarket products available. Products for your UTV or snowmobile, including billet radius rods, billet tie rods, billet steering knuckles, billet steering racks, alternator kits, and much more. All manufactured in the United States in-house at their headquarters in Nibley, Utah. Travis Zollinger and his team test in some of the most brutal conditions, racing in places like the Best in the Desert Mint 400, Ultra 4 King of the Hammers, UTV World Championships, and many more. Visit ZollingerRacingProducts.com and use the code DIRTLIFE to get 10% off your next purchase, and join us on social media at Zollinger Racing Products to see our product in action. The best products, period. Yeah, finally, we got Lance from Solderweld in the studio. Thanks for coming down, bud. Hey, why don't we just record a commercial now?
Yeah, why not? So good to be here, man. It's been a lot. I've been trying to get down here forever, and I wanted to talk about the off-road kit.
Dude, I love those things. I got it in my pack.
Yeah, we're running hundreds of vehicles now running them, whether it's a UTV or some guy's got it in a backpack on his motocross. He's got everything he needs to make a fix right there on the fly, out on the trail, or in the desert, whatever it is.
Well, since I've already used one, I kind of know what to use it for, but explain what it does.
All right, so let's pull one out real quick. You've got your aluminum rods. Remember, they're rods, right? So, light torch, small torch, you can throw it in there or throw it on the rig with your flux. It decontaminates and cleans, like let's say a radiator. You get a random rock chip runs through as you're racing. You get a rock chip in a radiator. You got to fix it right there, or you're out of the race.
You can patch it up
You can patch it up. It's all good to go.
Yep, just like welding.
Yeah. Also, as well with that, you've got a brake line fix. So with your flux, you can fix a brake line, stainless steel. And then your hot block, heat absorption putty. So it keeps you from getting burned, number one, as well as keeps the heat from traveling. So it's really nice.
I've used this not even to fix anything, so that stuff works so good, man.
Listen, it's easy. It straps in nicely so that you have everything you need in one little place, and you don't have to carry a big bag in
It's
the
like a first
truck.
aid kit for your vehicle.
Yeah, chase trucks have it as well, so that if they need to make a fix on the fly, they can get it done and get it done quick and get you back in the race.
Dude, those things are so cool. All right, so it's at Solderweld on Instagram, Facebook, and solderweld.com.
Awesome.
All right, thanks, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, we are back. Episode 82 of the Dirt Life Show with our featured guest, Chris Blais. We're going to get really far into Chris's story. If you didn't catch us at the beginning of the show, man, Chris is a fantastic person to have in the side-by-side racing industry. Chris is, like I said, a Dakar podium finisher. He has spent so many miles in the dunes, in the desert, in different countries, aboard a two-wheel motorcycle, and we want to talk about all that stuff with him. I'm super, super interested in the roll books, actually, but now he's a professional side-by-side racer, race winner. He's a business owner, works his ass off. He's just an all-around good guy. So we'd like to welcome Chris Blais to the show. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
Good to see you, man.
Good to be here.
So, and you brought your buddy Jeremy.
Yep, he's my sidekick pretty much everywhere.
Everybody calls him Jay, but I still see a Jeremy.
I call him both. It just kind of depends
It's
on
only
what
when
comes
I'm in
out.
trouble. It's only Jeremy when I'm in trouble.
What do your parents say? Dude, just don't call me anything. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah.
So let's just ask this question before we get into your backstory. We'll go with Jeremy first, actually. What's a day like in Jeremy's life?
I'm a government worker, so I don't really do much.
You just get to chill?
Yeah, no, I train Marines on how to calibrate things. So
we got a couple comments that came in. Caleb Garrett says, "Hey, what's up, guys? Can't really hear anything what the guys are talking to." Yeah, sorry, bud. We had some issues with the Instagram, but you should be able to hear the boys sitting next to me, no problem now. So, what's up, Chris from Mario Cabrales? I think it is. I don't know who that is, but it's over here on the YouTube one. Tyrone Robinson just chimed in. What's up, Tyrone? Thank you very much for joining us. John Huppertz, he's an awesome listener, friend of the show, man. He wants to be there for the reveal of that Project 144. Yeah, hopefully those guys will do something. And, Tyrone wants to come watch live. I wish we had a camera of the people that are live here with us, man. They're just scarfing down a whole bunch of pizza and sodas and having a great time. But we are stoked because we are at IMG Motorsports, and we don't have to wear masks here. COVID's kind of slowing down a little bit, so we can have our audience here today. So it's really awesome that they give us the opportunity to hang out in the shop. If you guys didn't catch the beginning of the show, we got this badass rig back here. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about a day in the life of Chris, and then follow it up by a day in the life of the car, because that thing is fucking awesome, dude.
It's pretty much I get up every morning and get rolling. I go out to the shop. My shop's luckily at home, so I don't have a very far commute.
What do you usually work on at the shop? Like, you just work on dirt bike motors and
Pretty much my main thing is just I focus on engines.
Mm-hmm.
We do internet sales stuff for mostly KTM and Huskies.
Mm-hmm.
We do some bike prep, some bike work, service work, and then my 2 race cars are in the shop. I actually just hired a mechanic.
Oh, sweet.
To take care of my race cars for me, so
Dude.
I can actually go out and test and do what I need to do.
That's what we were talking about earlier on the show, is like how much actual effort goes into these dang racing programs with 4 wheels, dude. It's crazy.
Literally, Gary's been working on our race cars nonstop for I think 8 weeks now, and he hasn't even touched anything in the shop else.
That's
besides
nuts, dude.
The cars, to keep us so we can move forward at a faster pace.
So one of the things that's really admirable about that, about hearing that and saying that, is that that's what it takes to operate any motorsports program at a top level. You always have to be putting work in.
Always. And it's all day. I mean, I get up and I don't go in until it's dark.
And you don't
Every
fall
day.
asleep unless you're thinking about it.
And you fall asleep and you think about, what am I going to do tomorrow, or how am I going to make this better, or what's next? When are we going out testing?
Yeah, I get a message at 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, I don't even see it until the next morning. I'm like, Chris was still up.
I'm still thinking about what we're gonna change next, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, is that the comment that you guys were talking about? Rusty Demon said, "Is Patty eating tacos?"
I know, yeah.
So Patty is Chris's wife, for those that don't know. But I was still amazed when I saw you guys unload this car today. It looks so cherry. And you said it's already been through 1 race?
It's been through a race, and we have, it says, over 800 miles on this car right now.
It looks like you nerfed somebody. I don't know if people can see it on the camera, but there's a couple dents in the front bumper, so that's gotten used.
Yeah, that got used a little bit. We got a new bumper on the way.
Parker.
Yeah.
I saw you guys zooming through not zooming through the pits, but zooming down the wash and coming through the pits and stuff. One of the things that I like most about your car is that it's got a little bit of red in it that really stands out.
Yeah, we had to change it up a little bit. Can-Am wanted us to run the yellow and black colors, so
Has a big ARD on the side. So.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool, man.
Mitchell Alsop did a hell of a job building this car.
Yeah, give us a little bit of details on the car. So it started out as a X3.
Well, it's pretty much an X3 drivetrain.
Oh, okay.
There's not a whole lot left of it. It's a full chromoly tube chassis race car that he's building.
Really?
Yeah.
From the ground up,
full
huh?
aim system, harness, everything in the car is just...
Yeah, the amount of technology that's in this car is ridiculous.
Detail it a little bit more. So, when you're talking about it, you know what you're saying, but a lot of our audience doesn't know a lot of that. So the AIM data system
AIM data system, we're basically logging data of the entire car. We're running CV temps. We know front diff temps. We know rear differential transmission oil temps. We know everything. There's sensors on everything.
That's awesome.
To monitor it in real time, and then we can go back and supply data for Can-Am, and if we have an issue, we can go back and figure out where it happened and what was going on at that time.
Is it pretty easy, Jay, to see all that stuff in the car when you're...
Yeah, on the screen on the AIM system that you could run it in different modes. So you could read a lot of different things. During the race, we only have a few things up, like CV temps and water temp, belt temp.
Is it weird for you guys to talk sitting in this position where he's on the left and you're on the right?
Yeah, just a little bit. That's what I said.
We don't really even talk that much usually when we're driving.
No, he needs to be on this side.
It's kind of weird.
For those of you guys that are watching on our Facebook or YouTube feeds, it's kind of funny because Chris is always the driver and Jay is sitting in the passenger seat monitoring all that stuff that they're talking about. What's a couple other things that you guys did to this car that looks like you guys got suspension, you got seal savers, you got some Baja Designs lights. Obviously, you got a tube chassis. There's a lot of tin work done.
It's all ZRP knuckles and alternator kit. KMC wheels. We've been running the Kenda tires. Have been amazing. iBox springs.
Just tons of good
Tons
stuff.
of good stuff. Yeah, all the suspension components is all ARD. Mitchell Alsop's building all that. And
It looks awesome, man. I mean, it still looks like a Can-Am, which is really cool. I mean, having all that stuff, did it make a huge difference in the way that the car drives for you?
Yeah, the car is amazing. I mean, just that riding that rigid chassis compared to a stock chassis that flexes a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, we actually spent more time on the suspension for this car because you don't have that chassis flex coming into play.
Oh.
So you have a more rigid feel, and I like a soft plush car that I don't have to fight. I mean, I'm steering with one hand.
Yeah.
I'm steering with one hand, so the car has to be set up to be able to work that way.
And not to mention, you came from being a two-wheel rider, and so your senses are a lot more heightened than most people.
Yeah, and just driving with my hands, I mean, I have a lot of control. I just, you know, you're always looking for, we're running e-power steering, but you're always looking for like that little bit more because that's
to ease the job a little bit.
To ease the job and keep in control.
Right.
Because I would sometimes in certain circumstances I would like to push a little bit harder, but you know, my arms physically getting tired after 6 hours, and you just don't push that hard because you don't have that little bit more, that extra 10%.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So that's good that the car can actually do a lot for you. The guys at Dune and Destroy chimed in saying, what up? We love the Dirt Life show. Thanks, boys. We really appreciate it. And he said the sound is good on YouTube. So thank goodness. I'm glad that we're getting a little bit better over here at the Dirt Life show. So knowing that you guys have your car set up, you guys are putting more effort into the racing program. I want to talk about like what your plans are for the rest of the year, but let's Tarantino it and go all the way back until like, I don't know. Have you known Chris, Jay, since he was young, or like when did you guys meet?
I think I was Patty's friend first.
Oh, you're Patty's friend first, right? Is everybody Patty's friend first? Chris? Is that how it works?
They meet her first, and then I work
guys.
myself in.
Yeah,
you can be a friend afterwards.
I steal the friends afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But I think it's been, but I don't even know. Sadie,
they can't hear Patty talk, so it was during racing quads.
12 or 14 years, because
that's pretty long time, man.
She's 14. My daughter's 14 now, so I've known them for a while.
Yeah. So before Chris got hurt.
Yeah, just slightly.
Like right when.
Yeah. It was close because I was just getting into the quad series.
Let's go back even further then. So what got you even into dirt sports? Like, was it living up there in the high desert?
Shoot, we did it from kids.
Yeah.
I started riding an ATC when I was 3.
Yeah.
It's just a family thing we did it. My dad's been a motorcycle technician since forever.
That's a really a really commonality. I mean, like a lot of our listeners and stuff like that have the same upbringing, right? Like we all did it. I mean,
there's mini bikes.
It's literally the reason we started the Dirt Life show is because we all grew up in the dirt. Like,
that's what we did.
Yeah.
We went camping usually once a month, and my dad usually raced some enduros, and we just, did laps around camp all day.
Never stopped?
Never stopped.
You only stopped when mom and dad said you have to get a drink or fill up?
My dad's just like, man, I got to buy another tire for your bike,
We got to see some old video at Chris's birthday party. It was hilarious.
What was it?
There was old video of them riding back then.
Riding three-wheelers?
Me and my brother burning laps on the dirt bikes.
Like, so what? Do you remember what the dirt bikes were?
CR80 and the CR65 or something like that.
Yeah, I had an ATC 70 and then an MR50.
Well, I want to know what these videos were.
Oh man, they were. My dad busted those out. That was old school right there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
Were they pretty sweet? What was he doing in the videos?
I think he might have fell over once.
It
was goofing around.
Just goons.
Goon style, yeah.
Oh, that's funny, man. I would love to see those videos.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
We'll have to talk to your social media coordinator, Patty, and see if she can
post them
dig those up.
She's like my manager, so she handles it.
Yeah, exactly. Have Dad play those videos again, and she can just record it with her phone.
Sometimes you look like, oh my gosh, like that's what I did.
He's like, that's what I did. He's like, I really look like that.
See, that's where you had to start, though, right?
Yeah.
And then it turns into. Look what it turned into.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the seed right there that was planted.
Well, and it turns into, like, we're going to get into how awesome he was at being a dirt bike racer and stuff. But before that, even, like, it really turns, how do I say this? It really sets the bar or sets the baseline for your life, right?
Yeah, it does,
because
for sure.
It creates all kinds of different things. I was having a conversation, I don't remember with who the other day, but it was over tacos, of course. But we had a conversation about how people turn out more dedicated when they have stuff to focus on like that. They turn out like I don't want to say like a better human being in general, but the work ethic that they have, the drive that they have, the skill sets that they have, the want to get up in the morning, like all those little things, just from growing up in the dirt or riding or doing these things, it makes a huge difference in the way that humans turn out.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I live my whole life, and
that's what I
everything
mean.
do.
Yeah,
it's my work ethic.
I think it makes people more competitive in life.
That's a really good point.
Is what it is. I think it is. It makes them want to excel in their own life.
Yeah,
like with anything you do.
With anything, yeah.
With anything, you always want to be
racing.
better than someone else's.
Just want to, you want to be the best, and I think that's what
it
is.
Bar,
yeah,
right. Yeah, 100%. Did you kind of grow up the same way, Jay?
Yeah, I grew up in the desert. I always rode whatever I could.
Yeah.
Started off mini bikes and stuff like that, and then I got into racing more heavily when one of my good friends, I used to go to the races with him, and he got hit head on by a buggy on a dirt bike.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and lost the use of his right arm. So I bought his stuff after.
Yeah.
And then that's what started me racing.
That was the catalyst for you.
Yeah, and from then I did both dirt bike and quad, and then I mainly focused on quad, and I was just better at quads.
Yeah, but I mean, and Chris stuck to two wheels, obviously. Rusty is commenting in too. Rusty used to race Desert as well. I don't know if you're familiar with who he is, but
yeah.
So Rusty's good people, and his daughter Brooke, obviously, wife Kelly. But he said you learn to be self-reliant.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing, and we're going to actually talk about that a little bit when we talk about going on some of the rallies and stuff like that, because that's a really key attribute to being able to win those races and stuff. The guys from Dune and Destroy commented in and said X-Travel has a cutting-edge front end that's basically eliminating bump steer. Maybe that would be something that could help Chris. I don't know if you've checked it out yet.
That's my buddy. Yeah, I did some testing with him. I've raced with James Woodford and in Mexico and stuff on one.
How is that front end? Because I wanted to know about it too.
From on the UTVs, he said it's awesome.
Really?
I haven't got the chance to drive.
You've done it on quads?
I've done it on quads. Yeah, I've raced his new prototype setup that he came out with just recently.
Oh, right on.
And it's amazing.
I want to see that X-Travel stuff one of these days.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, and I was talking to Chris about it. I'm like, hey, he was out and he was like, I really want to do something with you, like with Chris. Because he is driving with one hand. So I'm like, dude, that 10% that he doesn't get fatigued, if that helps Chris out, it's like that's.
I mean, I'm always looking for something.
I don't want to go any faster.
Level.
Yeah.
I don't want to go that much faster, but we are.
He does.
Like, yes, but when he sees me over there and I start gripping the seat, and I'm like,
it's all good.
I mean, we're going fast.
I actually have a really good question for Chris about this. We have some comments coming in and stuff. I'm going to try to keep up with as many things as possible here, but. So when I first started side-by-side racing, I came from motocross and supercross. And when I first started side-by-side racing, it was probably, I don't know, let's just say 10 or 12 years after I got hurt. So it was a while, right? But my first race, I mean, you're going into corners in short course at 70 miles an hour, whatever it is, right? You're going down straight, you're wide open. But I swear to God, I felt like I could eat a sandwich. I felt because my brain was going so much slower than what I was used to on two wheels. Is that kind of how you felt?
Yeah, I mean, because I got going like a year after I got hurt, a year and a half. I bought a 800 Razor. I was in an 800. I had to do something. I was going nuts. I was driving my wife insane. So we got a Razor 800, and we started from that. And I did that for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years pretty heavily in the works races and that, and then just got out of it. Just ran out of money.
How did it feel as far as like your processing mechanism in your head and the way that you were working the car and stuff? Did you feel like, man, this is way slower than what I'm used to in motorcycles?
I mean, an 800 Razor was like, riding an 80.
Yeah, it was like,
it's like, come on, is that all? Is that all this thing's gonna do?
Yeah.
But you just drove it like 125,
Yeah, that's
wide
true.
open to the stop everywhere and made it exciting.
Get it going as fast as it can go. And that's the reason that I asked that was because of what Jay brought up. He's saying he doesn't want to go any faster, but you do because you can physically or you can mentally see that you can go faster.
I mean, yeah, it's different now. I mean, it's been a long time since I've done 120 miles an hour on a dirt bike, but still, I mean, 90 miles an hour in a car, especially one of these, feels pretty fast still, but.
Yeah.
You know, you're always looking for more. Come on.
Yeah.
You got to test yourself, right?
Exactly. Well, I mean, just the fact that you're going 90 miles an hour in a UTV is phenomenal anyways, right? Jacob Delzer commented in and said, what goals, if any, do you have set for yourself to accomplish inside or outside of racing?
Well, I mean, I've
How about we separate it into two questions and then give us a racing goal and then give us a, I don't know, business or life goal?
Well, for racing, I would like to be one sooner or later the best again. One of the best. At least one of the best.
Win a Best in the Desert championship? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm looking, for Best in Desert. I'm going for another DP4 championship. We're going to run Pro Turbo and Legacy.
Nice.
We're going to race the Mint. We're going to race UTV World Championship.
You're doing it up.
I'm going all out this year because
See,
there's a lot of naysayers that, just don't give us the credit, and I think we're just going to go out there and earn it.
Well, I think they should give you a lot more credit, and we're going to go into the reasons why. But what were you going to say, Jay?
They don't get to hear what this guy says when we're racing. Like, one race we were out there, he's like, I didn't come at her to lose. And then it's like full to the stop, and I'm like,
you're just like, shit, I'm going to die today.
That's it. Like, let's go.
We had some issues. Like,
He's
I didn't come here to lose or get second today, so let's go.
Yeah, it turns into an animal sometimes. There's only a few times that I've had to, like, all right, you're going to have to check up. Like,
yeah, like, bro,
man,
let up.
But then there's times that we're in the dust, and I'm like, just keep going, just keep going. He was like, I'm like, I raced quads forever, so I'm used to the dust. But these things make some dust.
I always wonder, like, how does, like, certain people can see through the dust. Are you good at seeing through the dust?
I'm okay. Jay's better than me, but I think he's just telling me to send it because he ain't paying for it or something. I just like, dude,
Like we're
I can't
good.
crash my car. We're gonna be out of commission for a while. Like, this is gonna be.
I know what next week has on the schedule. We can't fit this car in there.
I
That's
mean,
what
it's
it is.
different if you're driving it like a rental or someone else's car. Like, hey, let's go, right?
As I said, I couldn't imagine if he didn't have to pay for one of these cars. I don't know what.
I don't know, man, because the way that side-by-side racing works, and I've had this discussion with so many people, it's getting to be a little bit better now. Actually, let me wait because my subject is kind of long-winded. But Kimberly Lynch said, "Would you like to do Dakar in a UTV or Dakar?"
I would. That would be really tough.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if the ride was there, I'm not going to turn down a ride.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
there was an opportunity to do anything.
Yeah, it would be a little bit more of a
It's just,
of a project for you
Well,
to be able
I've
to do it,
already
right?
been there and know what it was just to do
Right.
it as a normal, perfectly healthy person, and to do it in a wheelchair and the amount of support it would take
We would make
to
it
be
happen.
out there.
We would make it
I know my
happen,
crew
though.
always makes it happen. Anybody
Right.
who did, but that would be tough.
You know what would be pretty cool, though, is to see you succeed in doing something like that. I'd be on board to help out if I could be a part of something like that. So, Kimberly, I think the answer is yes, but we have to put a little bit of effort into it, right? So I was going to talk about some of the side-by-side industry stuff. So when you're on two wheels, it's easy to talk about like motocross and supercross and even some rally racing stuff. You have a factory-supported race team. The factory-supported race team has drivers or riders that come on board, and you show up and you drive a factory car. In off-road or side-by-side racing in particular, you get sponsored by a manufacturer, you get a certain budget or you get certain cars or parts or discounts or whatever it is, and you're on your own. Like, you still have to support and race do the whole program. It's not the same as a arrive and drive, maybe is the good
Well,
word.
I think that's part of the issue with the whole industry,
Oh,
actually.
dude, I agree 100%.
Because now you're spending all this money and you're having multiple teams, and you have lack of communication. You just don't
Right.
have the in-house communication. I mean,
It's not cohesive.
We've been at the level where you're at a team and you have 4 or 5 guys you work with nonstop to be the best,
100%.
no matter what. And you get so much more accomplished when you're working with the factory,
Dude.
the people designing and building every piece of the vehicle.
Because it's a direct communication link, and you can establish all of the things that you need right through
You
that
know, and
link.
everybody's sharing because you all want to be the best.
Yep.
Everybody's sharing and doing what they have. And I have a lot of these teams are on the same team, but they're not sharing. You know, there's lack of communication. It's just how how it is when you have your satellite teams.
So I think the side-by-side industry itself has a lot of growing to do. Not that it's doing bad or anything. I mean, it's still a very infant stages of the industry, right? I mean, compared to where we are with Rhinos now to these UTVs is different. But the racing programs in 10 years will be much different than what they are now.
Well, things have been changing a lot year to year lately.
Right. So we'll see what happens. John Lewis chimed in and said, so, Chris, are you doing the two-day legacy race in a couple weeks?
Yes, we will be doing Silver State and then re-prepping the car to go to the Legacy race.
Whew, man, that's some serious prep going to happen, dude.
We're already got half of it done, the components ready to go
really?
on the car and be ready to rock.
The amount of work that it takes to operate a desert program, you got to be pretty stoked on all your guys that are helping out.
Yeah, we spend a good 80 to 100 hours per race of labor.
Oh, I can only imagine, man. Just
without tearing stuff up.
Yeah, exactly. When you have to slow down because Jay wants you to go faster through the dust. That's awesome, though, man. I always give so much kudos to everybody that works on a race team like this. I mean, like, of course, he's ridden quads and he has, good skills on his own, but he's sitting there helping you, man. That's pretty cool that you have friends that do that.
Jay's been a huge asset because, I mean, I'm pretty open. I listen to anybody's views and ideas, and he took us in the direction we've gone now in the suspension. I was actually going a little bit of the wrong way on a few things until we figured it out, and then we tried some stuff just based off of Jay's ideas, and then all of a sudden,
because where he comes on from four wheels,
we're back going the other direction. Yeah.
Wow, and it helped, huh?
We've been making progress by the week,
dude.
It's unreal what this car will do now.
Yeah.
I can do stuff that basically we were going half to 3/4 throttle. And now you can hold it to the stop and just like, we need some more power now.
I hate to throw Mitchell out, but after the ride that he got this last weekend, he actually was like tearing up in the car because
scared.
Or
he is stoked.
He was with emotion. How much it's
he's
just
like
worked.
Yeah, he's
dude,
like with
what
everything.
we've done and the progress we made in a few months.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is how vested everybody is in the program and how much the industry cares about each other. It's
Well,
so
like Mitchell,
sick.
basically, he built this car for us for materials. So
Really?
he put all of his labor and heart and soul into this build for us to get me out there. And then me and Jay have been working on the development. So
that's a badass.
So it's easier
dude.
for Mitchell just to come out. He can come out and race and have cool
he's
stuff.
He's one of the hardest.
Mitchell, you're awesome,
guys.
bro.
One of the hardest working. He's younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 30-something. I'm 34 or something, but he's way younger than me. And I mean, nonstop
This dude
working.
like sleeps 6 hours a night, and the rest is he's working, and
Nice.
every weekend.
Yeah,
that's
so,
cool,
I mean,
man. Hustle.
You don't find many young guys that do that anymore. They're willing to do it.
Yeah, they see the clock at 4:59. They're like, "Peace, bro." Yeah,
I know.
I hate that, man. I can't stand that when people are like,
and there's
that.
like a pile of work to be done, right?
Yeah, it's like you don't go home until your work's done. That's the exact thing I was talking about the dirt life. Is like there's so many dudes that I grew up with that we didn't have paved roads where I grew up. Nothing. Like you don't go to sleep until the job's done. Like, you know what I mean? Like you grew up, you take out the trash when you wake up in the morning, you take it out the next morning. Like everything is like, I mean, it's like a almost not militant, but it's like you are structured. You have a work ethic, right? Like that is so cool that you're surrounding yourself with guys that are just like-minded.
I mean, I'm so passionate about what I do. It's nice to find other people that are that passionate. Because, I mean, I was used to working on the highest level with people that were there to be the best always. So you want to surround yourself with that, but that doesn't really exist that much in the normal
there he is. He
world.
commented in and said, "Thank you, guys." Yeah, that's super cool. Well, let's talk about all that stuff then. So, you grew up. Obviously, you had funny videos of you young, ripping around that your dad recorded or whatever. But eventually, that turned into being a professional dirt bike rider, right? Like a racer.
Well, yeah. The crazy thing is I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Did it kind of go up into motocross and then it got started getting in the desert, or what?
I never even raced motocross. I didn't even. I got a job at where my dad works at their dealership at Mid-Cities Honda. I got a job there at 15 and a half years old in the parts department. And I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna be, I'm working here. It's great. I'm kicking ass. And then my dad told me, don't get stuck here like me.
He told you
He's
that,
like, don't get stuck here like me. And then so one of his buddies, Ray Conway, had
best
come
words
in.
of advice for the rest of your life.
Don't get stuck here. So one of his buddies came in, this guy Ray Conway, And he was my dad's service manager for a long time. Well, he was running the shop at American Honda.
Oh,
He's
really?
like, hey, I'm looking for a lot lizard, you know? A lot lizard for the shop. Well, you had to be 18 to work at Honda. I was almost 18. He's like, all right, get Chris to come in and do an interview, and I'll see if I can get him in there.
Nice.
So I started working at American Honda as soon as I turned 18.
Yeah.
And then
Dream job.
I worked
Dream
in
job.
yeah, it was a dream job too. You know, it was awesome. You're working around bikes, motorcycles, street bikes, ATVs, everything.
Kid living in the desert, that's perfect.
You know, I was the lot lizard, so I was the go-to guy. I did everything. I did all the crap work, everything there was, moving bikes, polishing bikes, test whatever they wanted.
That's
and
awesome.
they moved me around. I worked with all different departments, and then Johnny Campbell's little work pen was in our same area.
Nice.
So, you know, they'd pawn me. He'd like, hey, I need Chris to help me mount some tires and that. So I met a lot of awesome people and worked for a lot of different departments because I was the pawn-off guy. You know?
No, hey, somebody needs help over there.
Yep.
And then I didn't even do my first desert race till I was 18.
Are you shitting me?
I did a couple of random
Crazy.
enduros when I was 16.
Really?
I didn't even know there was District 37 desert racing out there.
Dude.
There was literally like 40 races a year. I had no idea.
That's phenomenal.
Until I turned 18, I'm like, and I'm there at Honda, and these guys at work, all the mechanics, like, hey, you want to go out to the Jackrabbits race? And I'm like,
What is that?
Jackrabbits race? Where's that? Out in, Johnson Valley. I'm like, they have race down? They showed me the schedule. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of races. So I went out there, raced the novice class. I think I got second overall novice my first time out. I beat all the guys in the shop, and they never went back. And then I was like hooked. I'm like, dude, this is rad. And I went out there every weekend by myself.
Really?
I drove out there by myself, and I raced every damn weekend.
That's phenomenal, dude.
And literally, I moved right up through. I think I won every single novice race after that. Moved up to amateur and kept winning. And literally, Johnny and then they started helping me on a 650 right away because I was, his in-house guy.
Yeah.
They sold me a bike for really cheap, and they'd help me with some parts. Just kind of gradually, but I had to earn my way. I stayed late. I helped them out.
Earning your way
Then
is
I'd get
key,
a
though.
then I'd get a tire. I'd get a free tire for mounting 30 of them.
That's
working late, and I go in early. It's like whatever you want, I'll do whatever. I want to go racing. I can't afford to go racing, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Back to that whole dirt life, man. Your drive was off the charts.
And literally in 3 years, I was at the top. On the top level.
At the time, you don't have to be the fastest. Obviously, he wasn't the fastest starting out, but he had natural talent.
Yeah.
And just knowing that people
work hard.
Yeah.
Well, he has natural talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I agree with that, man. That is really cool to say. I don't know if you saw.
I started at the bottom. I was a freaking lot lizard nobody kid, It's like it was.
Those stories, and it's not just the story that makes it cool, right? It's the work ethic, the drive, the day grind that you had every single day to get to that point. Like, you didn't know if it was going to happen. You just were throwing everything at it to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, whatever it took.
Dude, that's so rad. I don't know if you saw it, but we actually had Johnny's brother Jamie on the show with Elliot Watson a few weeks back here. It was pretty cool talking with them because the stories that I imagined that you could have with Johnny or even that Jamie had with all these other people, man, it's hearing those stories of the desert racing. I don't want to say back in the day, but in the earlier stages dude, those stories are mind-blowing to me.
Well, I mean, Johnny was my mentor, and he believed in me, which was huge. Because I never, besides their family, you never really had anybody that believed in that. It's like, you can do this. I know you can do this, so let's do this. And he helped me be the person I am today.
That is so cool, man. Was he out there, would you get to go riding with him and stuff?
We would
when you
he
were
would
younger?
take me down to Mexico and go pre-run. When we were doing that, he would help supply the bike and the pit support, so that would cover my side, and then our other teammates would cover the rest. Because I'm just
work on it together.
I'm just working a little bit over minimum wage, trying to go racing dirt bikes.
Lot lizard guy.
Yeah, lot lizard guy.
God, that is so cool, man. I love hearing stories like that. So when you start doing winning the novice races and different things like that, are you thinking I want to be pro, or are you just thinking I just want to beat everybody? Or do you have these long-term goals?
Well, I mean, you start out and you're just having fun and you're enjoying it, and of course everybody likes winning.
Yeah.
But I did it for myself. I didn't really do it for anybody else to impress anybody. I just did it for myself. And literally, I was out there by myself. I would pit myself and gas myself and enjoy the drive home by myself.
Do you know anybody that does that?
My parents supported us. He supported me and my brother later on, but they didn't really want to go out there every weekend and do this relentless stuff that we were doing.
Yeah.
So about how long were you doing it for? How many years were you doing it for before you were like, man, maybe I could make a professional career out of this?
When I started, I mean, it was only 3 years, and I was at the high level in 3 years.
Like
of
Jay
racing.
said, talk about natural talent, man. You don't get there without talent and then obviously the work ethic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It's always a lot of work and dedication. I mean, that's all I did.
He's not going to give his
I worked.
Yeah, no,
I worked
that's-
on my bikes and I slept.
Yeah.
He's
And I
not going to
raced
give
them on the
himself credit
weekends.
for
It's
the
like-
talent, though. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be like, because you ride with him. Like, whenever I ride with a good driver, like I got to take a ride with Rob McCachran, just in a place side by side. But you can see the way that they drive and the way that their mind processes information because of the way that they move, right?
Yep.
Inside the vehicle. Is that similar to the way that you see Chris do it?
Big time, man. I everybody that I tell, I'm like, Chris has been one of the smoothest drivers I've ever rode with.
Right, just
I'm
like gently moving things.
And anybody that actually rides with him, like he took like 4 people for a ride this weekend when we were testing, and they all were like, yeah, I see. He's a completely different style driver than anybody that they drive with.
Yeah,
And it's talent. It is, and a lot of the stuff like he drives the car like quad riders do, pretty much, because he's in 4 wheels, in 2.
right.
So
Where he looks,
where
and
he
sees things.
where he puts the car, how he sets the car up, it's like that's the same exact lines like as a quad rider would do. They
Right.
would, because you can't ride directly in it, or he lets the car just carry out. He never gets panicked and is hard on the wheel.
Almost like letting the car do what it wants
yeah,
to do.
and
I
that's
mean, if we're gonna
that's what
blow
he-
out a turn a little bit, we blow out and we correct, and you never even would have known that it was a mistake.
Yeah.
That's just kind of just keep flowing with it.
There's a lot of people that don't understand that simple driving thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, shit, I'm not in the rut. And they crank the wheel and something gets fucked up. They blow it out, whatever happens. It's like, so we got a couple people that commented in. Dave Levinson commented in, said, Chris, DP4 has a great grassroots starting point for new racers. How do you see DP4's sudden growth with race cancellations? Do you see number of entries sustaining?
Well, DP4 they're doing a really good job. I worked with a lot of these guys actually with the National Hare and Hound program when I was part of that, when we built that series up. And these guys, I mean, they know what they're doing. The growth that fast was just something they weren't prepared for. And I don't think anybody, I mean, when you go from 60 entries to 90 something all of a sudden, and now 125 after that, they just didn't know. They didn't have long enough courses set up, so they're just sorting it out. But the guys are on top
having
of their
120 cars.
The guys are on top of their game.
30 miles.
They're going to get it together for sure. I mean, there was a couple little hiccups, but I mean, that's just expected with, 100% growth that fast. They're doing a good job, and they work heavily with the BLM. These are all guys that have been in clubs for District 37 that have 40-something races out in California deserts, constantly. So they have that working relationship with the BLM. So they've been able to put on races that other places can't even do in other states. And we're in California, which is the strictest. So
Yeah. It's pretty cool that they're having these series come up and that these people are able to successfully operate these events.
I think the next one is someone said, I think they might have capped the entries until they can get more organized, which is great. How many places are going to limit themselves on what they can do for safety and everything else?
Well, it's
until they
better
can
so you
build
don't
a
fuck
series.
up either, right? Like,
Have something crazy happen. No, they just came out with their single seat class.
Ooh,
yeah.
RS1 class?
RS1 class.
Have you guys ever got to drive an RS1?
No, but I was going to ask you about yours.
They're so fun. I don't actually own an RS1. Craig Scanlon of Polaris let me borrow it, and we just raced it at the UTV Worlds. But that thing was dude, it was like moto.
Pretty
like
cool,
Well, it was close, right? Because you can see the wheels and everything moving. But it felt different than a side-by-side because it didn't weigh anything. Like, it was like, 200 pounds lighter or something? It's like whatever.
I think it's even more. It's a lot.
Whatever it is, like, you can totally tell. It feels like a way faster car because it's so much lighter. It's badass, dude.
Yeah, people forget the power of the weight. Just because you got 200 horse, if your car's 2,500 pounds,
I think if you could beef up the clutch system and make it a little bit more sustainable, like, you could push that car really hard. So it was super cool. I think both of you guys would dig it, like, especially coming from quads. Like, you would probably get it pretty hard in that thing, dude. I think it'd be fun. So we're gonna. Kimberly Lynch commented in and said, "Tell the story of how you got to Dakar with KTM or Dakar with KTM." But we're gonna go a little bit slower than that. I'd like to understand the first, like, I don't know, maybe the first 5 races of when you were like, all right, I'm going pro. Like, this is where I think I can actually put some effort in. Like, this is a good sport for me to be in. This is something that I think I would like to pursue.
Well, like I was just doing local District 37 events, and then basically I wanted to do best in the desert on the bike. So I couldn't, all I had was a CR250 two-stroker, and that's really not the greatest thing to have for best in the desert. So that's when Johnny Campbell, they basically said, well, you need to be on a 650, and then we can offer you pit support and help you out with that part of it since the company.
That's a massive bike change.
Yeah, and I'm like 150 pounds.
Soaking
kid.
Wet, really?
Yeah, and they're like, this is the bike you need to buy, and they gave me a smoking
That thing will
deal.
buck you off, dude.
I had to sell my bike before I could even buy that one because I had no money to do any change. So I sold my CR, I bought the XR, and I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to do this. And then actually went out the Vegas 200.
I guess when somebody comes at you with opportunity like that, though, you
have to make it
I'm
happen.
like, I'm in.
You have to make it happen.
I'm going to do it. Let's do it.
Fuck, I'll figure it out later.
I'll figure it out. And after, I ended up loving the big bikes after that. So.
Really? So was it? Let's actually talk about that real quick, because I've always wondered this. Like, there's been a few of my friends that have run those 650s or the air-cooled ones or whatever they are. I think it's the same one, right?
We ran the 600 was the air-cooled.
600?
The 650 was brand new.
That's the one that
when I was
Scott
at
Summers
Honda.
lifted on his head or whatever?
Yeah, the 600 was.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was right before. That's right when the 650 had just come out. The 650 Honda when I was at Honda. That was the first year. So that's when that popped
that thing's
in.
a beast, dude.
And they wanted to promote that thing, and I'm like, I'll race whatever. If there's some help involved in that, I'm in. You know, I didn't care. It's like I just want to go race it.
How did you start that thing?
You just figure it out.
You just figure it out.
And you,
150
that thing had a 6-foot-long kickstart on it.
150 pounds, he jumps on it.
I had to build like a little mound, you know, so I could start it on the district races where the dead engine start.
Dude, you just make it work.
But you make it work. I mean, that bike was super stable in the valleys, which I enjoy going fast. I was better in the faster stuff than the slower technical things.
Really?
Terrain. It's just that bike worked well everywhere. You couldn't muscle the bike around because it would just wear you out. So you had to be really smooth. And I think that's where I got my smooth kind of riding ability, because the bike will just slap you down and, you know.
Yeah, you're not trying to be smooth. Like if you had just stayed on a two-stroke 125 the whole time, you would have had a totally different style.
Yeah, but the 650 you had to be super smooth and fluent. You had to flow. If the bike decided to jump this way, you had to kind of just move with the bike because you weren't going to bring it back.
Makes
You
sense.
just had to just go for the ride and make it work, you know?
Is that similar to the way that that you drive the side-by-side? Like, because you were saying that you're better at long, fast stuff.
Well, now, I mean, we do really well at the rougher. The rougher the courses are now, the better we do.
Dude, I think that's
because it's mostly based on setup and being smooth and not making mistakes.
Directly related to what Jay was saying earlier. It's what you can see. Like, you can see it differently than most people.
Yeah, the lines that you pick are complete. Like, we'll pick lines as we're going. Like, if it's a loop race, I'll tell them, hey, we'll check this out. Like, we could go over another line, like, you know, a way to just up and over something instead of, like, there's lanes that we'll just pick.
That are totally different?
Totally different, yeah.
Makes total sense. I was actually talking about this with James Hill here at IMG the other day, was the way that dirt bike guys pick lines compared. Like, so most works races, you started out doing work stuff. They just take the main ruts, right?
Everyone's in the main line.
A works track is just a literal single rut track the whole time.
It's a slot car track.
Yeah.
But, like, dudes like Jesse Nelson, dudes like myself when I was at the UTV Worlds and things like that, like, I was up at the top, like, way, way up there. Like,
crisscrossing stuff.
Yeah, but, like, there's a picture of me at the UTV Worlds passing somebody in their Polaris Razor, and my upper wheels aren't even on the ground. They're in the air, and I'm still going around the berm like a two-stroke, you know, or like a two-wheeler.
Yeah,
yeah, and it was passing somebody that was just in the ruts, right? So I can totally agree with how you're, like, understanding the way that you visually see the track, and I still think that that's a huge, huge advantage.
Some people have to drive in the ruts, though. Their cars won't work outside.
So you're talking about the cars, not the the quality of the driver?
Well, yeah, that too. Some people's cars, the way they're set up, if you try to get out, they're fighting the whole time, so they have to have
They rely on the ruts to
two-track.
hold them in.
Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good
I mean,
point.
we notice sometimes the ruts is faster to stay in the ruts, even in the chop.
Right, but you can see that, yeah.
But I mean, sometimes we'll move out just a little bit and run it on smooth stuff, and there's no tire tracks there, and it's 6 inches over to the side.
Yep.
It's like, what is everyone just driving down this for?
Barely put your tire in a different spot, and that's what I think you learn going through the two-wheel stuff that you did, and you did probably a little bit too with the four-wheel stuff, right? Because you understood.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. I mean, at least on a 2-wheel, it's easier to find because you only need like a 3-inch wide patch,
With me, I was with the quads at most of the races. You start behind all the bikes.
Yeah.
So I would pass 150 bikes in a race.
Oh,
so
shit.
I would catch people that were in a train, 10 bikes at a time. I'd come around until they finally moved us to the second line. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
I was like at 150 bikes at some of the desert races.
That's nuts, man. Okay, so understanding all of that, like you got to the pro ranks and you were clearly riding a big ass bike. What was the next step, man? Like, where do you go from being like you show up at your first pro race, like all of a sudden you're like, wow.
Well, I mean, you go from getting your butt kicked to trying to be better every time,
So you did get smoked your first race?
I did. So I raced the expert class, my first best in desert race, expert Ironman, and I raced against old Greg Zitterkoff.
Really?
And that old dude kicked my ass. It was just like,
was it like a reality check or what?
It's always a reality. There's just always somebody faster.
When you think you're going fast and somebody comes around you.
It might not even be somebody that races, but there's somebody out there that's faster than you are no matter what. It's like, and it's just like, well, I got a lot of work to do still,
So on the ride home from that race, were you just like thinking like, fuck, what do I do now?
Yeah, and the next race, I kicked his ass.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
what
just
I like
like,
to hear.
You got to get it together. It's just one of those things.
Did he come talk to you after that race?
I mean, no, I didn't talk to Greg very much. No. I don't think he'd like getting beat either.
Chris does not like getting beat at all.
Really?
At anything. No.
It's a quiet ride home when you lose.
That's what I was about to
Not
ask.
even just losing, just second place. He's like, dang. It's like everybody's like, oh, you did good. He says, yeah. But no, he's like, no.
He's trying to be cordial, but he's like flaming inside.
Yes, big time. Big time.
I'm not usually mad. It's just you're like.
He's thinking out.
I'm already thinking, what do I need to do to be better the next time?
The next race is
not
happening.
One or two things can I fix to be better?
What was it, the first race in the UTV, in the first Can-Am? We lost because of fuel. He's like, that's it.
Mitchell.
He's
Mitchell
like, that's
beat
it.
me.
Yeah, I am.
Our builder.
Really?
I'm never going to do this again. He was like, because we were fueling with stock cans. He was like, I'll never do that again.
So we spent 7 minutes fueling and lost by 5 physically.
Oh,
and I'm like, nope,
shit.
Never doing that again. Show up to the next race, there's dump can, dry brake.
And now it takes like 9 seconds to fill a car.
Dang, dude. Totally would have had that one against Mitchell.
So
that
it's
time.
like you find
So every time you go out to eat with Mitchell, you're like, dude, all I needed was a dry fuel can. I would have smoked you.
I know, right?
We had some of the best racing against Mitchell at some of the DP4s, or no, at luge races out there.
What I like about Mitchell is he never saw the wheelchair. He always saw the racer first. So
really,
and once we raced, he knew it was going to be a fight, no matter what. It was going to be a battle.
I love that. We'll actually talk about some of that stuff, like your comment that you had there. Mitchell said, I think I beat you the next time, too.
He did, but
look at this guy throwing shots.
No, it was we blew the front drive shaft off.
We took turns winning a lot, but
Mitchell, shots fired,
I
bro.
was the one that 2 championships in a row. I'm a championship contender.
Here we go, coming back. That's funny. Gilbert commented in saying something about Jay, too. He said 1 year Vegas to Reno, Jay passed 23 people before pit 1.
Yeah.
Were you just on fire that race or what, dude?
No, I'm a pretty good dust rider, I think. And some of the guys, as soon as I catch you, as soon as they look, I'm already on the gas coming around. So it was fun. One time, I think when I did get off the quad, a dirt bike rider pulled up next to them, and they were like, who's riding that thing? They were like, I didn't know a quad could go that fast. It's like, some of the quads that we had, that they would do, 95 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So, we rode some pretty fast bikes.
Dude, that would be a lot of work, man, holding on to one of those bad boys.
Yeah, and especially when you're passing dirt bikes, they hate it.
Yeah.
As soon as they see you, they look back and they try to jackrabbit on
faster.
you. It's like, I already got you.
Okay, Mitchell sent a heart, so I think we're good here. Your next
we
car
love
is going to
that
be
guy,
built
yeah.
properly.
Yes.
So you're going in and you do, we'll call it semi-well in your first expert races, but now you understand what you want to do. And this is where it gets serious, right? Like you start saying...
Well, you just see where you're at in the field, on overall
and you're also
time
getting support and you're also getting noticed by people. There's a lot behind it, right?
Yeah, and you have to, it starts to, it's fun. Of course it's fun.
Yep.
That's why we do it, but it's a job. You have expectations of yourself and other people have expectations. So, the next one I think was Vegas to Reno. Did a couple of ones, but Vegas to Reno was the big one in the Ironman class. I started and I asked Johnny, I'm like, am I going to need a headlight or anything? He's like, oh, you should be fine. You should be, if you don't have any problem, you should finish before this. So I show up on the start line with no headlight or nothing. And then this other guy that was winning the class before, he's like, where's your headlight or where are you planning on putting lights on? I'm like, I'm not planning on putting lights on. I'm just going to
wing it.
I'm just going to be there. I'll be there before dark.
Oh,
and he's looking at me like, you're crazy. There's no way in hell you're going to make it there before dark. And, I made it there before dark. Barely.
Really?
The sun was down. It was getting dark, but
I'm glad
I was
the
up on
story
the
took-
podium before it got dark.
I'm
so.
glad the story took that turn because I thought you were going to say I was out there. At the
Out there
fucking
by
dark.
myself.
Yeah.
Had a flashlight.
I could have been, that's for sure.
Dude, that's crazy.
And I think that one I ended up, from the Ironman class, which started behind all the experts, we were at the way back. And it was 17th overall.
Really?
The first one. And then
That's good.
I realized I was racing the Ironman class because it was cheap. It was only a few $100 for the entry fee. And, of course, pro class was going to be $900+.
Woo.
Yeah.
For when you're a 20-year-old kid back in the day, it was pretty expensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
It's expensive now. What are you talking
I
about?
what I finally worked out is I needed some financial help somehow. I had to find another sponsor to do that because I had the parts supply and,
Right.
they were taking care of me more and more. I stayed work late, to get some free parts again and do whatever I had to do. And so at Mid-Cities Honda, the owner there, I got Pro Honda Oils. This guy, Rick Mitchell, was awesome. So he wanted to help me some more. He did a full page ad in for me and Racer X magazine and
Nice.
a cool thing for Pro Honda Oils. So he wanted to sponsor me and he basically supplied the dealership with parts credit so the dealership could pay my entry fees. So then I was able to take it to the next step and go into the pro class and start further up front. And that's where I really was able to shine. You're not behind a bunch of slow guys and getting dusted out. You're with the pack, in the front of the pack.
Yep.
And I was able to do really well. I had some third overall. I rode all those races by myself. All the best in Desert Series, solo. Even though in the pro class you can have two guys.
That's crazy, dude.
So I raced against Paul Krause, Daryl Folks. Back then, Daryl will tell you the same story, but I made him retire.
Really?
He was hiring guys. He was paying guys to race with them, and they couldn't beat me.
That's
And
so rad.
They'd have two guys on the team. Different guy. You'd have Krause and other guys that he was hustling in, and they just couldn't beat me.
When I
in
hear
the
these,
four-stroke pro class. So he told his story today. He's like, yeah, I retired. I was done. After
He's
that,
getting
2
whacked.
years of getting beat, he's like, I was done.
when I hear these stories, it's so cool because you're clearly humble but the work ethic that you had is because of the way that you got into it. Like you said, the lot lizard, you're joking on yourself, and you said that you were doing all these things at Honda, sweeping floors, doing everything that you could, right? Like every single thing from the bottom. That's what makes you the person that you are today. The individual that gets behind the wheel of this side-by-side right here is because of the respect level that you have for your life in general, even before you got hurt, because your work ethic drives what you see on the course.
Yeah, 100%.
It is so rad to see, and that's what I think is so phenomenal about the dirt life in general. It teaches you different things, man, and you're a walking, rolling example of that. You're a fucking badass because of what you've learned growing up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've had a lot of cool stuff I've gotten to do and be a part of.
It's super cool.
But I didn't mind the work to get there, It's like whatever it takes.
Does it make you think God, social media is so tuning people up to not have the same ethics, man, when you see like the society nowadays?
Things have changed a lot.
It
A
is
whole
crazy,
lot.
right?
A whole lot now. It's not the same. It's just not the same.
It really isn't. But and we don't have to get off on that topic or anything, but I really do think it's cool, man. And you should look back, and when you go to sleep, I know you're thinking about your race car in the next race, but you should take a look at the life you have right now, man, because you deserve some credit. You should give yourself a pat on the back when you go to sleep, man, for sure.
I appreciate it.
He won't. He's too humble. No, he's too humble. It's crazy. He's patient.
Yeah.
Like he's never. I don't think we've ever had one argument in the car. The only thing that he said was like, I can't remember what he said when we were at Sonora. I was a note behind, and he just was like, "Come on, you got to get it together."
I was like,
Step it up, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you got to get your shit together. You know, like, and he's just like, oh god, that's the worst thing I've ever said to him. You know, like,
You know, when he says something mellow like that, you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
I really
because there was.
well, that's almost after it almost killed us.
It was
you
a
know,
bunch
like-
of dangers, and he's like, "You're a note behind," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he was like, "Come on, you got to get it together." I'm like, "All right."
So
like, it's Dramamine, dude. It's the Dramamine talk.
So Jay takes a deep breath and comes back, or what?
Yeah, well, I was over there navigating myself and looking over. I'm like, dude, you got to get it together. We're right here now. This is where we're at.
So this is one of the things that I want to talk about, navigation, actually. But let's slowly get into that. So when you see this and you're like, all right, this, you know, I'm kicking my friends' asses now, right? Like, I got this. Like, this is cool. Are you like, dude, maybe I could talk to some of the people that I've been working so hard for this whole time to get some support and go, really racing?
I mean, I was doing all I could because I worked at Honda.
Right.
I worked at there. I was a temporary employee there. I was trying to get in as a permanent employee. I wanted to race, and I was willing to do whatever. And an opportunity came out. I was supposed to basically race, and Johnny thought they were going to give me a contract. I asked. I was like, I need the next step. I just need something that says I'm a factory racer,
right?
Whether it's any money or not, and then I can get support from other sponsors to step up and actually, you know, some contingency, some bonuses, something to take
the next level.
To the next level. And I got passed up. For a new
Really?
guy. Bruce Ogilvy passed me up and chose someone else. I don't know if he didn't think I was ready yet. And then after that, I was just, they picked this guy, Danny Cooper, and they had him 1 year, and then he was out.
So it was just a business decision at the time.
Just a business decision. I think
it's kind of like what we talked about business decisions.
You know, but it's different. I was already in-house. I was an in-house guy. I was young, so they could use me.
You never know, though.
You know,
man.
you just don't know what they're thinking. You know, the higher-ups and executives were thinking at that point. It was just then it took the wind out of my sails. And I almost quit.
Again,
I almost went, you know, that's when Supermoto was getting huge. And I'm like, you know what? I almost changed direction and went Supermoto. I'm like, I can do whatever I need to do.
I didn't know that.
I almost went and did Supermoto.
Did you know that story,
instead.
No.
Because I did a little bit of Supermoto on my damn 650, and I could wax a lot of guys on small bikes.
On a 650?
On a 650. First time out, I smoked all kinds of guys that I shouldn't have been beating.
That's
and
nuts.
They're just like, and then I'm like, I almost changed direction.
On a 650, dude.
Whatever you got to do, right? It's like,
That's
we rode street
crazy.
bikes. I worked at Honda. We were able to borrow street bikes, ride it. I mean, all we did was ride.
That's nuts,
ride,
dude.
work, ride.
I still think that's crazy, though. 650 doing Supermoto. Like,
yeah, well, then when the front brakes start smoking each time because it's just too much weight to slow down.
I wouldn't even want to ride a 650 on the street, man. That, what do you call it? The four-stroke motor being, like, going in and out, like, when you're trying to stop. Like, you must have been on the gas, hardly even letting off going through those corners.
Well, it worked good because I was really smooth. I had a good throttle control.
If you let off, he would probably step out on you.
Well, no, I would just back that thing in.
That's what I'm saying. You got to be, like, wide open.
These guys were seeing this huge bike getting backed in. They're just like,
they were probably scared. They're like, he's going to wad himself up so they would back off.
Dude, I had
He's coming in.
I had the peg dragging in the ground, you know, on that thing. On some little skinny slicks that I borrowed from a friend. Some little tiny things. Just letting it ride.
Dude, these stories are so amazing, man.
It was great.
Well, so clearly your personality, when something like that happens, we'll call it the corporate fault. When the corporate fault like that happens and you're like, dude, come on. Like, does that just give you more fire? Because I feel like that really drives you personally.
I kept pushing. Forward. And then I kept doing really well at the Best in the Desert races. And I beat the KTM team one time. by myself, and I got noticed. Scott Harden noticed me.
Oh, wow.
So they decided all of a sudden that Dakar challenge thing came up. Well,
can you imagine if you gave up or went the other direction? Like what the difference would have been?
So Paul Krause, Scott Harden, and Larry Rosler went to Dakar for KTM and Red Bull KTM team. And they went the first time like, oh, that is so cool, you know. And then Johnny had went one year when I was working with him. And I'm like, this is freaking rad. Like, this looks like nothing you've ever experienced.
Just seeing the smile on your face
seeing
now,
it,
thinking about
like,
it.
Oh, man, this is like the ultimate adventure, you know. And then KTM, I literally got.
Do you remember what time frame this was?
2004.
Early 2000s? Yeah.
So I got an invitation in the mail. I got an invitation. It came to American Honda, actually. And it was from KTM, from Scott Harden, about the Dakar challenge. They're going to do a challenge.
Were you like sliding under your desk? Like,
hopefully it didn't say KTM on the envelope.
You won't even believe this. So I opened it up and I read this, and I'm like, dude, but I'm like Honda.
You're like literally sitting in Honda.
I'm freaking working there. This is probably going to be my career.
Shit.
This is going to be my career job here.
Like I'm going to get fired.
As a permanent, I was still
you could get fired from having the envelope come in, dude.
I was still like a temporary employee there, but I was trying to be full-time Honda, I wanted to be Honda, of course, right? I mean, that's all we've ever even ridden were Hondas.
Plus, that's the reason why I asked about the time frame. Like, KTM wasn't that established at this time either.
No, they're very small.
Breaking into the scene, yeah.
And I get this invitation. I'm reading this thing. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like, Honda. I literally threw it in my trash can next to my desk.
No way.
I'm like, I can't do that. I just can't. I can't give up everything because, dude, I'm a freaking Capricorn. I don't make just rash decisions, you know.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
I don't know. Something. Yeah, it's like
he just made it up. He just threw that one out there. Like, I can't make.
His wife Patty told him that one of those days, like, so he just believes it. Yeah.
You know, and then my brother worked at Honda with me, and I worked in the legal department at that time, and he would come in and hide and hang out in my area for a while,
really?
You know, when he needed to disappear for a few minutes. So he's hanging out, and I'm like, I got this thing, and he pulls it out of the trash. He's like, you have to do this. What are you thinking?
I mean, it is a pretty good deal.
I'm like, yeah, but
who throws that in the trash?
How do you go race for KTM and work for Honda? That is like conflict of interest right there.
Change your name.
This is a teeter-totter though. Like, it's a slippery slope, right? What we're talking about.
So learn that this whole time we're looking for a house. All this other stuff going on. I'm like, all right, so
like life
hits you. It's like
like the real deal's coming. Okay, so me and Patty were together and we were racing all the time before that, doing everything together, and then I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And then we were looking for a house. We ended up buying a house in the high desert. Literally, we didn't close on the house until the day I'm going to the rally challenge.
Oh crap.
So literally, I'm at the rally challenge, and she finally gets to go in the house that we just bought. I have no job because I literally just quit my job because I'm going to be in the high desert. I'm going to work at XRs only.
Yeah.
So I quit my job at Honda, my dream job. That was gravy.
Because you wanted to
I told everybody, I'm like, I'm going to get on the KTM team.
That is so hard.
And literally, we moved left, and I went to the rally challenge, and I got on the KTM team, just like I said I was.
Doing what it takes.
Whatever it takes. And then I come home. I didn't even have a job yet. I got a house I got to pay for, and I have no idea. I didn't even know what the contract, if they were even going to pay me.
It sounds
I
like
had no idea. Like,
Patty said she didn't even have a job either. So you guys are going in full tilt into this racing thing.
As soon as they said basically you're on the team, then Johnny calls me and he's like, "Where are all your bikes and equipment?" I'm like, they're at my parents' house. He's like, "Well, tell them I'm coming over right now."
Ooh.
And he went there and picked up all my stuff. That was it. That was it with the Honda. I was literally like, I hope this is gonna work out.
What a dude.
That freaking nuts, you know?
Like, just hearing that story, like, I wasn't involved in it. Like, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I know. That's a big decision. Like, I'm trying to be a grown-up, and I'm going to go race dirt bikes.
Holy smokes, man. So,
yeah, I think Johnny knew I was going to make it, too. He actually helped me, though, before. I've said,
we have a good cheerleader over here, but nobody on the audio can hear her. So she was saying stuff like, man, even the people around you knew that the drive and the situation was going to be successful.
Yeah, it ended up being me and Kellen. Me and Kellen Walsh were the guys that got chosen. Kellen was actually first. Kellen was a badass.
All right, so
For sure.
all of this life is happening around you, but there's a couple things that really stand out that I hear in this story. Is first of all, what a good feeling to receive that letter. I mean, it's like your college degree, like a college accepting you, right? Like for a normal person, it's like, wow, I got accepted to the place I wanted to go. But
you got to give up everything.
Did you apply for it? How did that?
They just randomly sent out a bunch of invitations.
That is really
there wasn't that many people to choose from with that kind of experience and long distance experience at all.
Yeah, because the rally or the long distance endurance racing was pretty new at the time, right?
It was. There was all we had was Best in Desert and Baja.
Right.
But we did all those, for so long. But there wasn't a big pool of riders to choose from that weren't already taken.
It's not like the 450 Supercross teams.
No,
now,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
But once again, back then, it was a lot of word of mouth. They, sponsors would reach out to you. Now it's
the other way. Like you didn't really go after sponsors. They came to you and said, we would like to be a part of your program.
Talking about come to you though, like that's a pretty ballsy move for the KTM guys to send a message directly to American Honda.
Yeah, they sent it there because they didn't know they just knew I worked there, so they sent it there addressed to me, and it got to me.
What, like that? Talk about a shot in the dark, man. Woo.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. Like that story, I'm glad that Kimberly asked us to talk about that story. It's really cool to hear that. And like I said, though, life is hitting you hard at this point. Like you probably don't even realize it, but that's a phenomenal, like every kid wants that. Like every kid wanting to achieve their dreams, riding a bicycle when they grow up in the street, and all of a sudden starting to dirt bikes. I mean, like there's a lot of kids that get amateur stuff like the Degans and all these other kids that get these opportunities nowadays. But most people, 99% of the kids that are riding dirt bikes will never, ever get that opportunity. So for you to have that fall in your lap, the story is what made that happen. The hard work made that happen. So any of the kids that are listening right now or listen on the audio version, like take note in what Chris was saying before that letter showed up. Mm-hmm. All of the hard work, all of the yes answers that he gave to everybody, all of the things that he had to figure out before he even got to the races. Like those are the things that got that letter to be sent. Mm-hmm. The story is phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, there's a lot of sacrifices to live the dream,
And you were so young at the time.
Yeah, I know. We just went for it. Yeah, I was like 22 or 23 years old when all this has happened. I'm literally buying a house, changing jobs. I have no idea.
God, that's crazy.
No income. I got on the team and they can't. It's like we don't even negotiating contracts for a week. A couple of weeks later until we were going in, it's like, oh, they're actually going to pay me? I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just a kid. You don't know anything about that.
That is so crazy,
I was like,
man.
all I'm thinking is like, as long as they pay some entries, I get to go race and they give me some bikes and equipment, I'm good. I'll figure it out.
That's all he wanted. That's all he wanted.
That's all I really actually wanted.
Dude,
I never really did it for the money. I've always done it for just to go out there and be the best.
You can't do side-by-side racing for money. It's literally pointless, dude. But yeah, so let's stick to the two-wheel story, though, because this is really like, you don't know how many commonalities you and I have, but the stories that you're telling are phenomenal for every single person that's listening. Like the drive and work ethic, I'm telling you, is just bar none what most people don't have, dude. So first of all, kudos to you. And let's get into the next part of the story. Like, so you say, all right, life just hit me. Like this is like, and then what's the next weeks like following up?
Shit, I had to get to work, start making some money, And then we're talking with KTM. They didn't even have any bikes for us because all this program was literally happening during the summertime in the middle of the year. So there wasn't a lot of budget planned or anything going on like that. So literally I had some GPs that are coming up that I still want to keep getting points for. And all I had was our rally practice bikes that they kind of makeshift and made work.
Yeah. So because they were custom-built bikes at the time.
They were like a 625.
Yeah, it's not the same as what a person would be used to.
They were basically a dirt bike that they put a rally front end body work and some roll chart on and all the all the rally equipment.
It was a lot different than what people know nowadays, though.
Yeah. But that was just a makeshift one they did, so they're all the same bikes so we can compete against each other for the challenge.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, you can just hold on to that bike and race that thing if you want. So we went to the Ridgecrest GP, and I have this freaking big old freaking sled. And then I still had my CRF 150 air cooled.
Yeah.
As a pit bike. So I raced the KTM and did pretty well at a Grand Prix.
Really?
With jumps and everything. And which I don't really jump
Yeah,
that good
that's
anyway.
Chris's
On
thing.
top of it, I'm
No,
not a
jumping,
jumper. I like
yeah.
to stay low and long.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, I beat my brother, and he
That's
was
going to be
pissed.
the audio clip.
You know,
low
I
and
beat
long.
my brother. He's on his 450 Honda. I beat him on this big old sled.
Really?
And then
Yeah,
I raced
and
the 125 expert
Kimberly
class.
actually commented it and said Nick was the one that pulled it out of the trash. Yeah.
And then I raced my one because I like racing. I didn't care. I raced my CRF 150 air cool bike in the 125 expert class, and finished like in top, 30% up there. Yeah, in the top 10.
And for
And
anybody
just
that
having a
doesn't,
good time. And
for
it's
anybody
like-
that doesn't know, that's like riding a pedal bike against a 450. Like it's not
It's
even
horrible.
competition.
That thing
yeah.
was smoking and making all kinds of noises and smells afterwards.
Just ringing it out
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole time.
It's like, I did it because I like to race. It wasn't about winning all the time or losing. It was just like, well, I'm going to race this and I'm going to have a freaking
Do you
great
ever
time.
wish that like I don't want to say social media existed, but there was a way that you could showcase? Like I just want to like in my head. I'm hearing the story, but I want to see pictures of all this stuff. Like I want to know, like cataloging all that would have been so rad back in the day, man.
We didn't even have, we have some stuff, but back then it's like you didn't even have phones that took pictures.
Yeah,
It's
nothing.
like-
yeah, you could Polaroid it, maybe.
Man, if you could have had GoPros and stuff
Oh,
when you were
man.
going
People
through
were like,
Dakar.
you guys are nuts.
That's the way I always feel like when I riding dirt bikes. I'm like, maybe somebody could have drew a picture of me like when I hit this jump. Like
Yeah.
it's so old school.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that is so awesome though. And then so
It's like,
it's a real life story here and all this stuff. So what was the next thing? Like you're getting into it and then like KTM's like, all right, let's get to business here.
okay, so now, we go in, we do our contracts. I mean, I thought it was really good, but it wasn't really for much at all.
Right, but at
And
the
it's
time
like,
anything was good,
Oh,
right?
man, you're
yeah.
just a kid. Who cares? You just want to race dirt
that
bikes.
has a house payment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just want to race dirt bikes, right?
Until you find out what somebody else is getting paid, and you're like, you
But-
Well,
suck.
we didn't even
You
know
don't
that
know
till
what you
years
don't know,
later.
right?
Yeah, we didn't know squat. So we saw it. It's like, oh, this is cool. They're gonna pay me to go to Africa and go race. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's go. So we had 3 days of rally training for the challenge.
That's
That's
nuts.
the first time we ever did road books or anything. Then we go over and they fly us over to Tunisia in like November before the race to do photo shoot and to test ride a real rally bike for the first time.
That's talk about getting thrown in the
So
fire.
we had 2 days of photos
Whoa.
and riding a real rally bike that's freaking heavy, 450 pounds loaded with fuel.
God dang,
You know,
for a two-wheel bike.
Yeah, the first years we were held about, I think they were almost 14 gallons of fuel.
Whew.
Because you had to be able to go a few 100-mile range. That's before they started shortening up the ranges so to make the bikes lighter. And we're riding this bike around like, well, at least I was used to riding big bikes already, but I'm 155 pounds riding a gigantic motorcycle.
Yeah, that's like
And-
riding a bucking bronco.
And you go over there with the other factory riders, from Spain, all the other guys, and they're like huge.
They're all tuned up.
They're like huge. They're like gigantic men,
They're
And you're
men.
like, I look
Chris
at-
is a boy.
I'm like, I'm just a boy compared to these dudes. These guys are men. Like,
Oh, that's
And me
hilarious.
and Kellen, Kellen's the same in size as me, and we're just a bunch of kids, and they're looking at it like, "Ooh, why are they bringing these guys?
Yeah,
Like,
these scrawny-ass
freaking
little
scrawny-
dudes.
It's like, what are they gonna do? Then they realize, like, man, these guys. I'm like, we race in the desert all the time. You guys have no desert.
So
where
what
you
I'm
live,
plucking out of this story, though, is I can understand what Jay is seeing in the passenger seat when you race now. Is like, if you're that small on a big bike like a bucking bronco, you have to know how to finesse things.
All
you
finesse.
have to know
It's all finesse.
Yeah, because otherwise that thing's just going to throw you to the ground.
Yeah, and when it does, and that thing hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts bad, for sure.
Man, that's crazy. And this is right around the time when I don't know how to put this, but like rally bikes or like it's just the inception of all these things, especially for a growing company like KTM.
Oh yeah, it was. They were competing for a long time, but it wasn't something that we really knew about that much in the States. So it's just but it's huge over there. It makes
Massive, yeah.
It makes our racing here just look like nothing.
Really?
You're just like small potatoes.
That's crazy.
When you go over there, it's like going to an IndyCar race.
It's pretty
You
cool
know,
to
it's
hear,
like,
though.
yeah, you guys, you feel pretty low budget when you come back home when you see everything that's over there. It's like, holy smokes.
That's nuts. Well, hey, so I'm going to just take a break real quick and remind everybody that you guys can comment in anytime. It looks like we have a few people watching on YouTube as well. So you guys are more than welcome to comment in and ask questions for Chris and this amazing stories, man. It's pretty cool. Have you heard most of this stuff already, Jay?
I've heard a few, yeah.
It's pretty cool to hear all this stuff for the first time for sure. So can only imagine what you guys at home are hearing now or thinking about what we're hearing right now. So you get over there and it's not like racing in the United States, like you just said. Like, what did it feel like?
Well, it's pretty intimidating. I mean, you're just a kid over there.
150-pound kid, especially.
You're just over
by
there
yourself.
hanging out.
I just picture like these huge-ass Germans being like, like
the freaking Spaniards and that. These guys were gigantic. Like, and some of the French dudes. Fabrizio Mioni was the last one on the KTM team that year.
Looks like the Incredible Hulk
he was
compared to you.
riding the 950 Twin. That was another 100 pounds heavier. That was a 140-mile-an-hour dirt bike.
What?
So he was
Stupid.
this guy was like 6'5", freaking man. Like, and I'm like, all right.
He's a Viking. He's a
He's
big
a-
Viking.
He's huge. He's just gigantic. But so that year, I mean, we're just kids. We don't know. I didn't even know how to do.
So that's a
read the road book.
500-pound dirt bike that he's riding.
Yeah, that goes 140 miles an hour on the dirt. Okay,
Jesus, dude, that is
it's no joke. And that was so he was the last one riding that
What did
bike.
you think? Well, like, what was your initial thought when you were like the kid walking up, going like, "What the hell did I just sign up for?"
Yeah, you're just like, man, I sure hope I do well, and I'll just get totally waxed, you know. And it took a few stages to kind of get in the groove, and then once we got, because you start in France and Spain, I can't remember the years, and you do like little short race sections through the trees and weird terrain and mud and the stuff that a rally bike really doesn't work good for. Well, once we got into Africa and we were in the desert, I'm like, all right, this is the desert now. We're back to the hometown, you know.
Dude, that's nuts, man. I can only imagine. Like, first of all, like when I was has zero comparison to what you did, but like when I first showed up in my first Supercross, I was like, oh my god, like I'm racing against like Ricky Carmichael and all these guys. Like I'm freaking out, right? And they weren't bigger than me, like these types of situations, but I was wigging out, and I could only I don't even know if I'd be able to handle the situation that you were in.
I mean, I was pretty mellow, so me and Kellen were just like hanging out and, enjoying it, right? We're racing, we finished the day, and we're like laughing and that and just having a good old time, and we're riding 300 to 500 miles a day for 22 stages.
You have to have a certain personality to be able to do that. Yeah. Like you said, like when Jay said you're calm or you're patient, like those things that, like I have zero of both of those.
Yeah. He said that grown men have just quit. Pulled
really?
up and just I can't
after like a day of rally.
Okay, so there was our first year we went. They had like the longest, worst stage in the rally history. The first year that we went, it was basically we started at sun up. We started at first light, and we started the stage like 2 miles out of the bivouac, so we had no transfer.
Do you remember how long the stage was?
It was a 550-mile stage.
Good God, in a day?
All sand. The whole thing was all sand. There was no roads.
Like
in the
massive sand dunes?
They were just rolling sand dunes, and then the last. So you get through. We got through like 300 miles of this crap, and rolling sand. You're carrying a good pace, and you're like, all right, we're clicking off some miles, and then all of a sudden we come up to the camel grass, and the last 120 miles of sand dunes in the camel grass, and you're in second gear.
I don't know what camel grass is.
It's basically,
like the pucker bushes.
The big pucker bushes,
really?
how the sand builds up around them? But they're like 2 feet spaced apart.
Oh, so you're just smacking
them
the whole
time. As far as you can see. You're going through them and around them.
That's like riding a jackhammer.
So you're riding a 400-pound motorcycle in second gear through the sand and trying to go around for 120 miles. That was like another 6 hours.
Oh my God, dude. That's like my worst nightmare.
Yeah, we finished the stage at dark, just before dark.
The fast guys did.
And I'm in the top 15.
Jesus.
And we finished this stage, and it's like, holy hell, that was gnarly. And by the time when we went to bed, there was like 25 bikes in there and like 10 cars.
How many started?
Hundreds.
So
they were all out there sleeping.
No way.
They all got stuck out there sleeping out
there. So these world's strongest men just couldn't do it.
Some of these guys they came in and they have full breakdowns, and they literally just get on a plane and go the hell home. They're done. Like, completely full breakdown. Like, what am I doing out here? I'm going to die. I'm leaving.
Like, that option kind of sounded good in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's
And
why I
this was
said
not even halfway through the rally yet, you know?
You got to be a certain individual.
Yeah,
And me and Kellen, like, because it was me, him, and Scott Harden. And Scott was behind us, and me and Kellen are hanging out, and we waited.
You all did it, though?
I'm like, how'd you like it? That was awesome, wasn't it? I mean, we had a great time. We're
That's
just like kids just
insane.
laughing, and then Scott's like, you people are sick. Like,
Dude.
you are insane.
I'm
Like, that was cool. I'm just glad I'm here, and I got to eat dinner.
being like the old washed up guy, I kind of feel like I would say that you guys are like crazy
Like, what is
now.
wrong
Yeah.
with you people? And it's
At
like,
the time, maybe being like a 20-year-old or in the early 20s. How do you feel about this, Jay?
I don't think I could have done it. Not then. Not because the stuff that he's told me, dude, no way. You had to roll, like, he had to pack his own sleeping bag back up after he slept. Like,
The
Set
whole
up a
deal,
tent.
right?
yeah, it set up a tent. I was like,
sleep in
no,
a tent
dude.
all every
The
night.
bivouac was way
There-
different back then.
There's no motorhomes.
There's been times that I've been doing,
Oh, nothing, yeah.
even races in Baja and stuff that I'm out, riding, and I'm like, why am I even out here?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is stupid. I could be washing.
Yeah.
But, of course, the next time you're like, oh, I need to race again. But
The-
I couldn't do it. I don't think I could do it.
First of all, I'm loving these stories. These are phenomenal. Like, so what you're telling me right now is perfect. Like, I love hearing it. Doing it, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I don't know if I could go through that. Like, thinking now, like, okay, when I was 20, I was like, or 19, whatever, 18, and I was a professional dirt bike racer. I felt like I was doing it, right? But now, like, hearing this story, I feel like I was a bougie little bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
for real.
Well, you got to think it's over 6,000 miles. You don't all race that whole time, but you're riding that whole time. It's basically like pre-run the 1,000 for 3 weeks straight is as far as you go each day, 300-400 miles
Pre-run
each
the
day.
1,000 6 times.
Yeah, just do that 6 times. It's no problem, right?
And that's your race. No.
And never have a day, really much of a day off. You're just going.
After
What do
every
you
day.
even eat?
that
Oh, well, that was all.
Well,
They got a bunch of weird food that I was like terrified of. I already have a weak stomach.
Yeah.
So we brought on
Well, you're only 150 pounds. This doesn't take much to feed you.
yeah.
Dude, we took a whole gear bag that was literally just full of protein and different power bars. I would eat
Really?
like 15 bars a day.
Yeah, because you weren't trying to eat all the
Because
other
you're
stuff.
doing it during the day because you just have to. I've even had them in my pocket so when you're racing or you're on a transfer
Just
section, you can
kill
pull
one.
out. You can pull out a piece. You break them up and just throw them in. They'd be all
dirt,
sandy
everything.
and dirty. You just like start gnawing on the thing and keep on rolling.
Cool to hear your stories, Chris, and honored to race with you and beat you, the Kelly brothers.
Oh yeah.
So that was Dylan Kelly, it looks like. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we did. When we did Sonora, Chris, we finished the last stage, and we're all pumped. And he's like, "Well, we got 15 more days." I'm like, "Dude, there is no way we could have done that."
We only drove 1,000 miles.
1,000
It's like-
miles, dude. He's like, "Yep."
That is so crazy.
I said, "I don't know what I would do off of 15 days of Dramamine."
Dude, it takes a special person to be able to do that stuff, man.
Kind of sick in the head, probably.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool, man. I really do. Like, I admire that set of that tool set that you have to be able to accomplish those things because it's mental, it's physical, it's everything.
Yeah.
Well, here's the scariest part. So you're doing this, and every year one of our friends, our teammates, died at that race.
Oh God!
Like,
dude.
Fabrizio Mioni on the 950, after that day, he had a high-speed wreck and passed away. And
Oh,
then
I'm
we
sorry.
lost our friend Elmer. We lost another teammate that was on the team, Andy Caldecott, one year. He passed away. I mean, he hung out with us because he was on the other team, but,
Well-
he felt more inclined to hang out with us. And
So I'm not trying to
crazy.
breeze over this, but I don't want to get too in depth into the dying portion of it. But was it like that happens because it's so gnarly, or is it because like lack of sleep, lack of food? Like what is
it's
what is
a
it?
combo of everything. The big heavy bikes, the speed, and all it takes. I mean,
It's that
just
gnarly,
think,
right?
You got to think. You're racing 6,000 miles. You're racing 22 stages. That's like 5 seasons of racing for most people, and not making a mistake
in one race.
in
on
one
a,
race.
on a 400 average 400-pound
Going as
motorcycle.
fast
Going
as
as
you can,
fast. You're
reading
racing.
a piece of paper.
You're racing full tilt pretty much the whole time. You're not really taking your time, and you're reading all this stuff. the maps and figuring out where to go while you're going race speed.
Could you like legitimately say that it's like 6 Baja 1000s in one?
Yeah, and not screwing up.
And you're
just taking that risk every day, you know?
That is insane, dude. So for anybody that's actually listening, like that is like, if you want to talk about goals, like hashtag goals, right? If you're a desert racer and you're like thinking about racing a Baja 1000, think about that.
Yeah.
Like that's phenomenal.
And imagine, I mean, something happens and your Camelback leaks all your juice out. Yeah. If you don't have a doc there that can hook you up, like these people are doing the IVs now before the races and stuff.
That didn't happen back then, though, right?
No. Well, they did.
They can.
They could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But now they're doing it, so people are getting what they need. I mean,
yeah,
you
before
could
or after,
be refreshed. Yeah.
It's just it's gnarly.
Yeah.
There's
That's
no way around
so
it.
gnarly.
I mean, just think of, you lose a teammate and you got to continue to race like nothing happened the next day.
Yeah.
And you just keep moving forward. And it's just, I don't know.
It takes a special kind of person to do that.
You just basically block everything out. All you're there when you're riding your dirt bike and racing your dirt bike, you're racing your dirt bike.
Just focus.
That's all. Nothing else matters. And you can't be thinking about other crap.
That's crazy. So, okay, so let's get back to, like, the story portion of it. Like, we could literally talk about how gnarly it is in, like, the racing portion for days on end. But you do this for the first couple races or whatever, and you're like, wow, like, this actually is something that I'm enjoying. It's something that I'm good at. Like, this could be something that I make money. Is that, like, what comes up next? Like, where does your brain and your career go?
Yeah, I mean, after we did it the first time, of course I wanted to go back, and I wanted to keep racing in the
You're
States.
fucking nuts, dude.
He wants to beat everybody.
I want to do better, you know. I got 9th the first year, which was excellent. I got the first, like, rookie award, and I got a little bit of credit from my teammates, you know, the other guys on the other teams for KTM, and
Look at this little kid. He's kicking ass.
They're just like, oh, okay, you know. And then Kellen, he ended up winning the final stage.
Oh, really?
Which was awesome. He just went full send mode, so he's kind of known for that. He got he got a stage win. He was one of the first Americans to do so. And then, I mean, it's like, yeah, I want to continue to go back. I want to keep on racing.
Yeah. And we should preface this by saying, depending on where the story goes, like, you got to be pretty proud that you were the first American or one of the first Americans to place
so basically
on the
there
podium.
Was before Ricky Brabeck won, it was Danny Laporte had a second, then Jimmy Lewis had a third, and then I got a third my last year before I got injured. I had a third place.
That's some pretty elite crew right there, dude.
There's not many. There's not even on your whole hand yet, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And we're talking about, like, some of the newest, like, winners too, like Ricky did, like, and that's still under 10 people, right? Like,
there's 4
all to date. There's not even any more than that.
4 on bikes. That's it.
Fuck, really?
There's only 4 Americans that have been on the podium on a motorcycle.
No shit, dude. Well, dude, thanks for sitting right here next to this dipshit.
It's pretty awesome.
What do you think I feel? Like, this guy asked me to race with him in one of these.
Like,
I was like, it's an honor to do. Like, yeah, like,
let's go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't even know why, because I'm just a knucklehead, but
a fast knucklehead.
I still don't understand why I got the opportunity.
What was the
Nobody
comment?
else was dumb enough to come with me.
Total knucklehead, right? What was the comment that came in though? A fast knucklehead that passed 23 people in the first,
I know, right?
the first stage of Vegas Reno or whatever it was. Man, that is so cool though. So to understand, like, the places that you've gone, the things that you've seen, the stuff that you've done. When you're going through this, like, first little sessions with KTM and understanding what this could be, like, what's going through your head when you're laying in bed next to your wife at your new house? Like, I mean, are you thinking, like, oh my God, like, what is happening with our life? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's
living
like,
the dream, dude.
Living the dream. That's what we always say. We're living the dream. I mean, how many people get to do what they like to do every day?
But that's like,
it's like
you got to be torn though, because it's like, holy shit, I'm doing this, and then holy crap, I got to do it better.
But I still worked full time.
Really?
The entire time I was racing.
Where were you working at full time then?
I was still at XRs only.
Really?
So I did XRs only for like a year and a half, and then I went out and I started my own business and started doing that. But I worked full time the entire time I was racing too.
That's crazy.
I could take, a few hours long lunch to go riding. A few days a week when I wanted to, but
Yeah, the boss wouldn't care.
The boss wouldn't mind.
the boss still say you should still be at work. But
one of my buddies, Brian Forrester, actually just chimed in and said, "What's up, bro? Chacho, sending love." You should go back. I know that you probably didn't listen to the whole episode, Brian, but hearing some of the stories that Chris has told us so far before he got into side-by-side racing is phenomenal, man. Like, just that whole upbringing that's leading up to like you doing well in these rallies is phenomenal. So when you're thinking about doing better, as you always do, what's the next thing that you go do?
I mean, I just wanted to continue racing in the States, so I got KTM to basically, they didn't want me to even pay me to race in the States. They literally wanted to pay me to go to one race a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'd like to go to a few more other small rallies.
When you're a young kid, though, you don't understand the validity behind that one race, right?
They just want me to go to that one race.
And
they
you just
want me
race.
to sit at home all the time after that.
Yeah.
Like, no, I need to race more. So I wanted to go to a few other rallies. I said, I just get me there. You don't have to pay me. Give me a bonus structure.
Really?
And then all the best in desert races, they didn't want to pay for that either.
Jay, you think this dude likes racing a little bit?
Dude, too much. And the thing is, I'm like, when do you stop? He don't. He doesn't.
So all the best in desert, they gave me the bikes.
That's the next audio clip.
Yeah.
When do you stop? He don't.
They gave me the bikes. They gave me enough bikes and equipment to go racing on my own, but they would not pay for it. They gave me a small
Really?
bonus structure for Best in Desert and for Mexico, and we went on our own dime.
Really?
At a factory, we were on a factory KTM bike that I built. I put
You
together.
still got to
we
remember,
organized-
these are the early stages of corporate KTM, like being in this racing genre.
Yeah, because they already had their works guys.
Right.
They had some other guys. They had Caselli. They had these guys racing other events. They didn't need us there. But they said, well, I'm like, I want to race, so I'll do whatever. So basically, I spent all my salary that I even made to go racing.
To put back into it?
Put back into it so I can stay tuned up.
Talk about freaking desire and want, man. That is awesome.
I mean, we went to Mexico on our own, and we had Andy Grider. We had a bunch of guys that we teamed up with to go. We wanted to go racing. Everybody just wanted to go racing.
I think the real question here is, though, what was the wife thinking about this, dude?
Dude, she's the biggest supporter. She pushes me more than
Go
anybody else.
Patty Blais,
Yeah.
dude. That's awesome.
She might not always like it and the things I do and the way I am, but she understands.
Was she making good sandwiches, though? Because then you wouldn't have to eat all
Yes.
those power bars?
Yes.
So you were fed properly at these American races.
Yeah.
Has Patty ever told you, like, you look like you weren't trying? Like, you weren't going fast. You just look like
She
you
used
weren't
to always say
Quit
that.
being a little bitch. Go
Okay,
faster.
'cause
No, what she used to say, I used to love to watch you ride because you made it look so effortless.
That's cool. That's cool. That means she truly knows how you are when you're out there.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet, though, man. So, all right. Well, you're going racing then. That's pretty clear.
We're going racing.
So, all right. So let's go through. Are there any key milestones that happened during this time? Because I know that you're clearly on the podium was a fantastic thing at the Dakar Rally. But what's like between there?
So right after that, we had I put together a team with Andy Grider, and Kellen was supposed to race with us for San Felipe, and Kellen broke his femur.
Oh,
He broke his femur in Matomi Wash, and literally we got him out. He got out at the end of the day. We figured out a plan. I called my buddy Quinn Cody that night, said, hey, we need a third guy to take Kellen's spot. Like at 11 o'clock at night, I called him up, and he said, okay, I'll see you in the morning.
crap.
So he literally packed his crap and drove down there and was down there the next morning.
That's nuts.
How many guys do you know that'll just
They just
at
do
the
that.
drop of a hat?
It's because
All
I
right.
called him. He was like, "Yeah, if you need me there, I'll be there." I mean, we all had these relationships. It was whatever it took. If they needed something, you would do whatever you had to do to get the guy sorted out.
I don't know if you understand this now, being a little bit older and more mature, but like. It's because of you. Like, it's because of your work ethic. It's because of who you were at the time that you could get people to do that. Because most people don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, and he came down on his own dime. I'm like,
That's
I
what
have
I'm
no
saying,
money. I got a bed for you to sleep in. And we figured out, let's go win.
Sandwiches.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a really nice bike, and they always
Okay,
they always
maybe
knew I brought the good equipment.
Maybe it
that
wasn't
was
because of you.
badass.
Maybe it was because of the sandwiches.
So we put it together and we won San Felipe, and we
That's
ended the
crazy, dude.
10-year Honda win streak down there.
Really?
And on a KTM.
That was a good milestone.
And we
man.
made like $1,500 to split between the three of us, I think.
What did
Living the dream.
Yeah, what did KTM think at the time?
Oh, they were stoked, but it didn't get us paid anything. it's like,
Good job.
Hey, good job,
job,
bro.
you guys.
Yeah,
Like,
way to go.
But I think that kind of paved the way what we were doing for the next generation.
That's what
that
I
they
was
ended
gonna
up
say,
stepping
yeah.
in and doing more with. So
That's pretty cool, man.
But another big thing that sets you guys up to just be out doing Dakars and riding alone is the stuff they would do for Mexico when they would pre-run their sections.
Oh.
It would be him and his truck, and that's it. Just be gone for.
I used to go down and pre-run
Weeks.
like the night section, all the way down the last 300 miles for a peninsula run by myself. I would drive down there by myself with my truck for 2 weeks ahead of time when there was nobody pre-running
That's nuts.
and
dude.
start riding.
That's
And we would
crazy.
ride a few thousand miles before
No cell
the race.
phones, no nothing.
No, the cell phones didn't even work. They worked in town, so you just were winging it.
We
And
literally
thought
grew
nothing
up
about
like
it.
again bougie motocross rider. Like we grew up saying we will not go riding without somebody else.
So the quads came on the track and messed up the berms.
Yeah, exactly. Like total bougie dude compared to that, man. That's
We used
that's
to just
insane.
not even think twice about it, like, oh, it's fine.
That's crazy.
Just go do it. But I mean, in the heyday with between Baja, Best in Desert, Rally, and all the pre-running and riding, I would probably ride 30,000 miles a year in the dirt.
No way.
I'd go through 4 motorcycles at home.
2 butt cheeks.
A pair of
Yeah,
a pair of Alpine Star boots lasted about 6 weeks.
that's
Through a
crazy.
all the
dude.
way through the soles in about 6 weeks on a pair of boots.
Holy
And equipment
cow, man.
and tires. We'd go through freaking 80 tires a year and just
Monkey butt like
I just thought of something because he told me that
Yeah.
these guys at Dakar came in with their butts raw. Just
oh man, I had when you do the wipe and you get skin coming
Yeah.
off, you're like, oh, this
Ooh,
is not
blister.
good,
Dude.
But we were always make sure. I was like, I told the doc, I'm like, dude, you got to fix me up.
That's what we got to do.
Can't
Like
be too shy,
Yep.
Fix me out, whatever it takes, please.
he's like, all right, we can put some leather back here. We're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I'm like, freaking stack it up, whatever you got to do.
You start having to lube up after a while, dude.
Freaking hurts. Yeah,
That's-
it's brutal.
That is phenomenal that you can actually ride a motorcycle that much. I don't
Yeah.
think there's probably like a handful of people on planet Earth that could ride a motorcycle that much, dude.
I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of miles in the desert.
I don't think most people have hundreds of thousands of miles in their cars,
Yeah.
dude. Like, let alone a motorcycle to do all that stuff. Well, I mean, dude, that leads you to being that dedicated, winning individual. I mean, like, you're going out and doing all this stuff. Like, is stuff starting to come your way? Is KTM seeing it? Are you like moving up the ranks?
I think we got a $5,000 raise.
That's it
for the
man.
second year, and then no, not the second year, but the second year we went, and then I finished 4th the
Really?
second year in the rally, and then now we were finally getting taken seriously.
Oh, okay. So that's where their eyes were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was like, okay, now even the other competitors kind of seen it's like, okay, this is like these guys, these kids know how to ride and get around, the Americans,
Yeah.
And then we did the same thing again. I think I raced all the next year pretty much on my own thing. I never even went to KTM instead, unless I was picking up a bike or supplies.
Well,
It's like I did everything in-house myself.
So, like, I guess at the time it wasn't as big of a difference. Like, so I'm thinking about it like comparing it to now. That's not fair to compare it to now. That's not fair to compare it to somebody like a Breivik who's got these different things. I mean, the riding that he does, and he's a phenomenal person no matter what, but it's different time.
It's different. Yeah, it's everything. It's a different time, different place.
Yeah, it's completely
different,
different. Yeah. So for me to do that in my head is like totally unfair because it was totally you were part of the building blocks to what it is now.
Yeah, we were a part of that and got the interest.
Yeah.
And just kind of kept it rolling, and all the people before us were a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So it's cool to see, man. And well, I'm saying you because you're sitting next to me, but like it's so awesome to be able to understand that this is where it came from.
Yeah, it's where it started. Yeah, for sure. It's awesome to be a part of that.
It really
Part
should
of those
be.
steps.
Man, do you look back now and be like, how many miles I've rode on a freaking motorcycle? Like,
Yeah, it's pretty far.
Does it?
Pretty far.
It's pretty
do you
far.
miss it?
Pretty far.
Do you miss it? Like, does it? Does it make?
Absolutely.
Like, you wish you could still do it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. And my family asks me too, and they're like, "Do you miss it? Because you do all these cool things that now you shouldn't miss it." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I miss it. I would love to be able to go out and do
I
that."
miss it, and I miss the experiences and other stuff that we had. You know, as a factory hand, I got to go do the Dubai rally. I got to do the Tunisia rally. I got to do Morocco rally. I got to travel these cool places that you would never just go
Right.
and go
That's
ride
true.
your dirt bike. Let's go to Morocco and ride your dirt bike, right?
If we're not
It's
talking
like-
about racing, did you have a favorite place? Because my bucket list still is New Zealand. So did you have a favorite place that you went?
I never really went. We never really went anywhere.
You were just
besides
at the
racing.
race?
Yeah.
But what about like a favorite moment or favorite place that you were like, or maybe something that Patty thought of?
I mean, I used to just love going to Baja and pre-running.
That was
I
the
like
fa-
pre-running more than the races.
Yeah.
You know, that was just a fun time to just, and we did it mostly by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just out there reflecting on your life and what you're doing. Like, wow, I can't
Could you
believe I'm riding
imagine-
my dirt bike right now, you know?
Could you imagine if his brain could play like on a screen? Like
Oh,
how
yeah.
cool it would be to see
Yeah.
some of that stuff?
Well, when he's telling it, I'm trying to like imagine some of the stuff. Like,
Yeah, and since you're sitting in the seat next to him, you could probably imagine it more than most
Yeah.
people. But I'm like getting the vibe now too. Like that's so cool to hear those things, man.
now with these, it's new memories that are, with these cars. It's like, dude, we were going fast right there.
Yeah.
Like, or the sketchy moments. It's like we pulled that one off.
Yeah, it's because of all those miles, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what this actually means, but Kyle Carpenter said, "Hey, Chris, can you come take a look at this?" ? Ha ha ha! Go win silver.
Oh,
today.
Kyle was my first guy for he was in the shop for 5 or 6 years working for me. Getting
Really?
the cars ready, from the beginning of the
Oh,
Can-Am
so that's
days,
why he's saying it's like it's a
Hey, Chris, can you
inside
come
joke.
look at this? Yeah, well, he didn't want to take any responsibility unless I said it was good, you know?
Oh, so he's double checking.
Yeah, double check.
Or having you double check.
Double, triple checking.
That's pretty cool. All right, so you're going and you're doing all these miles and you're having all this stuff. This is like a fantastic way to be and to live, especially with a personality like you. I mean, you've worked your whole life to be able to do something like this, and you're getting the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, it was amazing. Then I got to go again, and Kellen had gotten hurt. And then I ended up going the last year. I went the third year by myself. So I had a
Really?
full factory team, a full truck, full Red Bull backing, the whole nine for just me.
That's no slouch.
I was
though,
like,
dude.
okay, I'm like, man, no pressure, right? It's like no pressure, right? It's
Man.
like, come on, this is gnarly. So, and I finished third that year, which was awesome.
It's pretty clear that you can handle pressure.
Yeah. Then now I was on the podium. It's like, okay, and then went back home again, and I started talking to my buddy Scott Cox, and then you're finding out that these guys, all the other guys are finally talking to me a lot more. I'm friends with Cyril Dupre, and he's talking some more, and he's like, so how much do you train? And I'm like, well, I don't get to train, but I got to work. He's like, you work?
Wow.
These guys like, you work? I'm like, yeah, I have to work so I can
Yeah, do
I
this.
can go racing. And they're like, you should not be having to work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I like to
say,
work
hey,
though.
You go talk to somebody.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, man,
Who do I need to
brother,
talk
they're
to?
sponsored by like cell phone companies and all
Right.
this stuff. I mean, he wins the race and makes, a couple $1 million,
Whatever, yeah.
I'm sure. And, we win the race and get some pocket change to go home with or something.
They're
There's
like,
just a different way.
we upgrade you to business class.
It's over there. It's like, it's like you're an IndyCar, NASCAR race
Yeah.
or something huge for them. But our country just doesn't support
Right.
the Americans as much as they should, and
it's different.
It sucks. But I went back and I asked for a ton from KTM, and I asked for a lot. What I needed to not work, and they didn't want to do it. Me and the wife are like, "Well, this is our lowest number, and this is."
We can't hit Patty.
I told Patty to come with me. I need you in there.
Yeah.
And we walked out. They didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But I already had inside info that Red Bull was funding a lot of this program, and they wanted me back. So I asked for what, and
But that's all completely fair. That's
it
not
was
like
totally
you're asking.
fair. I'm like, man, I went 3 times for hardly anything.
Yeah.
For a very small bit of money.
Oh, pocket change. He
It's
says.
like, yeah.
And you're,
I mean,
you're
it was
talking
enough, it was
about
enough
it,
to cover my month being gone and some racing.
right?
You know,
And
in
you're
the
talking
States.
about
It's
it
like,
from a business perspective.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it more from like a life perspective.
No, that's what he said.
Well, I'm
You're
thinking-
literally
I'm like-
going and laying it on the line.
I'm like, I'm not gonna go out there and kill myself now
right.
because to win this race, each year you're going a little bit harder and a little bit faster. I'm like, it's gonna take a lot more risk.
You
involved.
quite literally deserve more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted more, and then they basically said they weren't going to do it. And then we left and drove home, and I got the phone call on the way home, like, how much can we do it? Can you do this? And then they wanted me to take on.
You drive a hard bargain.
They wanted me to take on. They're like, you're going to be the most paid off-road guy we have at that time. And I'm like, well, I should be.
Yeah.
At this point. And they wanted me to manage to justify the amount. They wanted me to manage the Baja team and Best in the Desert team that I was racing on.
Yeah.
That I was going to be racing on. They were going to do all this stuff because the rally department wanted to do a Baja effort, but they needed someone that knew what was going on.
Principle, yeah.
So I took the role then as I was the U.S. liaison for the Baja race team that I was on and that I managed and organized everything for.
Well,
at the
okay,
same
so I
time.
guess
so
if you're looking at
I'm like, okay, I'll do it. I want to be a part of it. I want to do this. Let's do this.
and if you're looking at your glass half full, you're kind of already doing it, I guess you could say.
I was already doing it. It was just, let's just do it. you know?
Okay, gotcha.
So, I mean, we did everything in-house, kind of like you said, like a satellite team.
So
But
basically,
we just did it and handled it.
So basically, you did get what you wanted from the contract.
Yeah, I got what I wanted, and then I got hurt 6 months later.
Okay.
I got my 2-year contract that I wanted, and I got hurt 6 months later.
Well, first of all, you got to have a pretty strong personality to be able to even go into a room and get the contract. Like, that's some serious dedication to be able to. And you got to know what you're fighting for, right? And that's your work ethic.
Yeah. I felt like I worked hard enough to deserve what I asked for.
Yeah. Well, kudos to you for doing that. And
That's why he has Patty as a backbone. It seems like over here.
Business manager over here,
Yeah, she's
Patty.
like, no, we'll walk out of here.
so, because otherwise, this dude would have been just going racing.
I just
yeah.
want to go racing,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah,
Well,
I'm like,
that's,
what am I going to, I can't buy my dirt bikes? How am I going to afford to buy dirt bikes?
yeah.
that's good, though, that you have that level head behind you, making sure that
Yeah.
you're doing what you need to do. So, and you're talking about getting hurt, going racing. So let's dive into that, because that's one of the things that everybody sees now, right? Everybody understands that you got hurt. So what happened?
So pre-running for 2007 Vegas to Reno, the second day just outside of Tonopah, I came around a fast high-speed turn and I got in like a truck silt rut.
What bike were you on?
I was actually on a 525.
Okay.
We had a 525 and we were going to race a 690, one of the special prototype bikes.
Uh-huh.
And Cyril Dupre
So was that a KTM production bike
K-
at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, it's not a production bike. It was
Oh,
basically
okay.
a trimmed-down rally bike kind of version.
Gotcha.
They made all kinds of cool stuff
Yeah.
that we got. So that
Well,
I
you
could play
guys
with.
made all kinds of stuff for what the general public sees now. But yeah.
So Cyril was actually on the big bike, and I was on just my 525, and I just came around a berm, high-speed sliding, and went into a silt rut, and then hit the, there's always a curb on the exit.
Right.
And I stood it up on the curb on the front wheel, and I ended up hitting like another rock, and I went over the bars, and I was still holding on.
Oh, okay.
Just got tangled up with the bike and
Yeah.
broke my back, got a spinal cord injury.
Do you? What part of your back did you break?
T6-7.
Okay.
So I don't have much below my chest at all.
Right. Yeah. So your
Yeah.
abdomen and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So maybe take us a little bit through? Did you get knocked out when you crashed?
I was still conscious the whole time. I was laying on my back and I was trying to get up, and I
Right.
was like, this feels weird.
It didn't work.
And I had my neck. I had a Liat neck brace on at the time, so I couldn't look down, and I couldn't feel my legs and even see if they were still there, if I
Right.
was even connected still. So I was a little worried, and I was choking because when you get the spinal cord injury, your abs shut down.
Right.
You don't have any core strength, so you can't even cough.
Right.
So literally, I'm choking on a bunch of dirt and suffering, and then I think Johnny Campbell was the first one that came up.
Do you remember how long you were sitting there and what was
I
going
wasn't
through
there
your
very
head?
long. There was I laid there a long time, but till the first person got there was only a minute or two.
Oh, okay.
Because we were all just hanging out of the dust pre-running.
Right.
And then they end up setting up a whole camp, and there was truck guys there, and they put tarps over.
Don't
me
fast
and-
forward too much, because I want to know what you were thinking at the time. Were you sitting there going, okay, I know what's happening, or like I still don't understand?
I knew what was happening.
Oh, okay.
I knew I was jacked, and it wasn't good. You know,
right.
you just like, you can't feel your bottom half of your body and your legs is not a good sign.
Right. I
So-
remember when I had my spinal cord injury, it felt like sandbags.
I think I was already preparing for the next step.
Really?
Like literally laying there in the dirt for 4 hours
Wow.
waiting for the helicopter.
That's crazy. And what about when everybody got to you?
Everybody got to me. They basically set up a camp. They took care of me, and they kept me stabilized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just got really lucky. It took forever because, you're in Tonopah. You're
Right.
hours from Reno and hours from Vegas. So they flew a chopper from Reno and got me out of there. But that was 4 hours later, laying there in the desert.
Jesus,
Like, if I had some
really?
internal bleeding or something, I would have been.
Yeah, you'd been
I'd
dead.
have probably been gone.
Man, that's
So I
crazy.
just, got lucky, and
Was that the only injury that you or the only broken bone?
I broke my collarbone too.
Oh, really?
Broke my collarbone at the same time. Yeah.
Do you remember, like, were you going pretty fast during, like,
Yeah, it's probably 70, 80 miles an hour.
Oh,
That's like a
Jesus.
nice trail ride pace.
yeah, for somebody
That's
like you.
normal, yeah.
But yeah, that is enough to. Let me take a step back here real quick, because like when I hear something like that, and when you preface a story like that, that's enough to really end most people, or to break a lot more in most people. So you must have been in really good physical shape to. I don't want this to sound bad, to only have that happen, because there's a lot more that could have happened if you didn't know how to crash, if you don't, like, stop, drop, and roll kind of thing, like.
Yeah, I mean, it just played out, so I'm, keep me still here
You're
for
here,
a
right.
reason, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty interesting that stuff like this happens, though, and there's a bunch of people that have spinal cord injuries racing two wheels, so it's not an uncommon thing to happen. But when it happens to you or the person that it's happening to, what goes through your mind at that time?
Well, I don't know. You're just wondering. It's like, is it going to come back? What's going to happen? What am I going to do?
Hope for the best, plan for the worst kind of thing?
Pretty much, yeah. You just don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, I guess you don't know what's not going to – what.
Because it's not like you can just,
can't
look
plan
up
for
an
it.
experiment and plan it, and see if that, it's not like you're racing a dirt bike, like, what happens if I have a spinal cord injury?
Right.
You think about breaking a bone, tearing yourself
So
up
no,
where
that
you're
you can
immobile
fix
for a
that.
while, or if you actually die, but you
Yeah.
don't really think of spinal cord injury. That's
Right.
not like the
Yeah, you think like,
the
okay,
thing,
I'll be
yeah.
back in 6 weeks. It's not like what'll happen next. Yeah.
Or I could be out for a couple months and then fine.
The unknown now, just So it makes it a little bit different, and it makes me happier to be having this conversation with you, knowing the work ethic that you have, because there's been so many people. I've done a lot of spinal cord injury talks and rehabilitation with other people with injuries and things like that. And unfortunately, there's been people that have come through and talked to me that I can't talk to anymore because they haven't had the drive and work ethic that you have. They've just let it go, and they've moved on. Unfortunately, they passed on. But you have to be a certain person to be able to move forward, right?
Oh yeah, I was in the hospital for a week, ICU for a few days afterwards, and then they transferred me to Loma Linda, and I was already ready to work.
Ready to
I was
go,
ready
really?
to let's get in and out of this place. I was home in a month.
No way.
I was at home in 4 weeks.
So they teach you all of these new ways
You
to
have
live?
to pass all these tests and do all these things and do certain exercises and all this stuff. I was like, let's make it happen.
Yeah, do it as
Let's
fast
get
as
it
possible.
freaking done.
Once again, want to be the fastest one.
Always want to be the
I'm going
fastest.
to win this hospital.
Yeah. They love me there, man, because they're like, man, there's just not many people we get to work
That's
with
what I'm
that really
saying.
want to get better. They just want to drown on their sorrows.
That's
you know?
exactly what I'm saying, and it's a certain ethics that you have to be able to move forward like that. It's cool to hear though, and it's not cool that any accident happens to anybody, but it's cool to hear that you were able to persevere through all of it.
I mean, I was in the rehab for about a week, and so Quinn Cody, my buddy, he was on the KTM team for Baja, and I called up Quinn, and I'm like, so what are you doing? Have you gone down and got the course notes and stuff going yet and planned the pits? He's like, well, I've been just waiting to hear from you because I'm managing the team
Yeah.
from the bed.
Really?
I'm like, well, we're
Still
waiting to hear from
focused
you if we're still going to go on with the race in the Baja 1000. I'm like, why wouldn't we?
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, we're going. I'm like, you better get the crap together. And he came in like a week later with all of his notes. We started putting the pit book together. Started calling people
really?
in rehabs, laying there in the bed. We're calling volunteers and getting it sorted out.
That's crazy. First of all, that's cool that you're still dedicated to doing that. But I think that there's an other side of it too, though. Like having that drive and having something to do probably helped take your mind off it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, if I can't race, I'm going to manage the damn team so we can go win.
That's pretty sick, dude. Did you know Chris at the time, Jay?
I knew of him. I knew Patty more than Chris, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
Quad goons.
Yeah, everybody knows Patty first, right?
Yeah.
Patty's the friend here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so, man, you're literally sitting there in a hospital bed and you're still participating in the sport that you love.
Absolutely.
Whoo-wee, man.
You're going to keep moving forward. I'm always moving forward.
Yeah, literally. Like, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy to think that you're that dedicated to it. Were you able to still help? Were you able to still help the team?
I went down. We got home.
You still traveled?
Me and Patty got home in, what is it, September?
So how long was this after you crashed?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe what?
Well, the 1,000 was in November.
So 2 months?
Yeah, I was home. I got home in a month, and then as soon as I got home, I started organizing the whole team.
You are so gnarly.
100 volunteers for the Baja 1000 that we organized. 30-something pit stops, helicopter,
dude,
the entire team logistics, the hotels, everything. Everything from the wheelchair right after I got home, and we traveled down there.
If I was any of the volunteers or any of the racers, I would have felt the most pressure in my whole life because knowing that you were operating like that, I would have been like, dude, I'm the biggest sissy if I don't perform now because the guy at the top is showing us that we can all do this no matter what.
I mean, we drove down there and we hauled. I had like, because like down there back in the day, you had to pay all the hotel rooms cash. I had like $20,000 cash on me, driving a trailer.
You're literally not even
Mexico,
talking about
running the whole team.
And your whole life changed in front of your eyes, and you're not even worried about that.
3 months after I wadded up.
You're still thinking about winning the races, dude. You're crazy. That is phenomenal. That is so cool to hear that you have that much drive for life. That's pretty badass, dude.
That's me and my wife talk about it all the time. I'm like, if it would have been anybody else that asked me to race with them, because I have my own car too now, and they race.
Right.
My wife and daughter race. So I was like, I think I would rather race myself. With Chris, I don't even think that way. It's like, if it would have been anybody else, I would have been like, Chris, he's like, we're going to go
It's a completely different story, right?
The way that he is, just being around this guy, it's unreal.
It lifts your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, first of all, look, we could keep going on this. Like we could probably have an 8-hour show here, but we know you got to drive back to Apple Valley. But anyway, so I don't want to step over this and not give you as much credit as we should. But people should understand that there is no way that you can live your life any harder than that. Like, that is so much focus, drive, and determination that it's very, very seldom that anybody will ever live that top-level life. So you got to be understanding of that before you even move forward, right? You got to be proud of that. So let's just go and go to the next step of your life, man. Like, so you're sitting there, you're managing the team, and you're like, I want to go racing still. So what happens next? Where does your brain go? Where does your body go? Where does your team go?
I mean, yeah, we did rehab we went to Project Walk for a good year and a half because the off-road industry raised a ton of money for us. I think over $100,000, and I spent every dime on rehab just to try to get better.
As much as you can, yeah.
I got really lucky with everybody. So all my KTM, they basically kept me on the same contract. Even though I was just managing the team, I wasn't racing. They kept me on my same contract. They didn't just ditch me. And then after the first year, we renegotiated. I was just a manager for the team, and they kept me on. Red Bull paid me out my 2-year contract. Everybody just kept they didn't just dump me. And most companies would have just said, no, sorry, and then your contract's void. It basically says that in there. If you get injured, they can just void the contract.
Right.
Everybody kept that going so I could go to rehab and try to get better. And, I mean, that was just better. The rehab was huge just for mental aspect.
Yeah.
You're around other people with the same kind of injuries and same kind of issues.
And the mental portion of it is like 90% of the battle anyways.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Like he's sitting there not being able to move or having all these, we'll call it demons inside, right? Because you're going and changing your whole life. It flips upside down.
It does. And it's actually worse for my wife.
For the people around you.
The people around me than just me. I was able to handle it, I think, pretty much fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't happy, of course, but I dealt with it pretty well.
Yeah, you
But
understand.
I tried to do that for the people around me, too, that had to suffer.
It takes a special person, man. A lot of people can't do that, just like what we were talking about before. So there's a bunch of comments that came in, so I'm going to try to actually answer as many as we can here. John Lewis says, truly motivational. Rowdy Rob says, super inspirational story. I just picture the Days of Thunder scene where they're racing wheelchairs down the hallway.
Yes.
Can you imagine this dude at the hospital and the nurses be like, slow down, fucker.
Let's go. Let's go faster.
Oh, man. I can only imagine all that stuff. Well, I don't want to skip over this because I know there's a ton that happens in between your side-by-side racing and, like, getting yourself back to being the person that you are now.
I mean, I wanted to race, so I ended up going out and I bought a 800 Razor.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I just, I knew I needed help.
Yeah.
So I started asking around, and I ended up finding my buddy Chris Hawks. He worked for himself. He owns Benchmark Performance.
Yep. Chris was on the show with us.
I worked with Chris at American Honda.
Yeah.
He was in the R&D department.
Yep.
And I knew him from over there. And he worked with, I think it was Todd at HRT Motorsports.
Yep.
So they are the first, they jumped on board. They did up my whole car. They did K's. They hooked me up with long travel. They got me hooked up with Fox to help me out with the shocks.
That's some of the
They did
best
a
in the
fuel
business
cell.
already.
They did all
Yeah.
that stuff, and they got me racing out there. And I did works races for a while. I always took someone with me, too. I never even rode by myself. Even
Like
at a little
you did
800,
before.
even at the works race. I was just like,
Yeah.
she wanted always someone with me. I'm like, fine, I'll put someone in.
Patty
It
says
was
somebody
way
has
more
to go.
fun,
Yeah.
especially when you win in a little 800 with two people in
I
it.
said nowadays Sadie will jump in.
I know, right? And I did that for a few years and then kind of got out of it. I just ran out of money and got sick of working on it.
Yeah.
And had to focus on my business. That's when I was
Yep.
all out on my own. And then I wasn't involved with
Life.
I really didn't really like politics. So I got over the politics
Yeah.
with KTM. And I just wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
Yeah, then we built the National Hare and Hound series.
Yeah.
So we started that group with the AMA and helped promote the series that was already happening.
Oh, really?
And help build that up. So we did that for 5 years while I had a bunch of sponsored riders. So I saw potential, of young guys, and I had the opportunity, that someone believed in me. So I wanted to give that back too.
Yeah.
So I still had ties with KTM and help. So we basically started sponsoring
Connecting a whole bunch of dots, huh?
we were managing. I was doing my business, managing the Hare and Hound series, talking to all the clubs, dealing with all that.
Lining up
Then
riders.
I had riders riding for me, working on their bikes and helping them be better people and racers.
This
And
whole
all that, like the whole time.
This whole time, I mean, it's
Like
clear
this-
that your wife helps you and is passionate about the same stuff that you are. But hearing all of these different things happen, I mean, like you have to still be putting effort into your own life. You're going through rehab. You're doing all these things. Like having a spinal cord injury, you're in rehab every day, basically. But so when do you get time to sleep, dude? Like, gosh, dang.
All I do is work and sleep, pretty much, and go out to the desert.
He sleeps for like 2 hours a day, probably.
His
like
mind races. I know his
the
mind
whole time.
races.
He's dreaming about all this other stuff at the same time.
I really don't do a whole lot. The wife
I feel
gets
like
mad
when
at me sometimes.
I feel like while he's sleeping, there's still spreadsheets getting done on the side or something. Like
I literally work, come in, eat, watch maybe an hour of TV, and go to bed and get up and do it all over.
dedication,
every day.
man, dedication to
Every day.
motorsports. So Big Tim 352 said it's cool to hear the stories, Chris. I remember the days at Mid Cities, the parts department, with your pops cheering you on through Dakar. cheers and wish you all the best.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. So you probably get all kinds of different messages from people all the time, just being like, "Oh, this story or that story or good luck or whatever it is."
Yeah,
huh?
so it all comes around sometimes.
Yeah,
it pops
right?
up. You're like, oh, that's random.
But it's
guy's
cool,
like,
right?
Hey, remember me from this? I'm like, yes, I do remember that.
So
It's like-
as much as we all might hate social media, it's kind of cool that people can still follow you the whole time and see what's
connected,
up.
yeah.
And be connected. All right, so let's get past a little bit of the two stuff. And since you got your Razor 800 and you're kind of on the edge or whatever, like, what's the next like kicker that's like, dude, I can go racing again?
well, there's still more in between all this.
We don't have like, you still got to get home tonight
Well,
and go
then
to
I
work
got
tomorrow,
back in.
dude.
We did RC cars as young kids.
Yeah, I did those.
I got back into radio control cars, and me and my brother and my dad, me and my brother especially, we took that to the next level.
Really?
And we were getting a lot of help racing cars. So I had to find
There you
something
go.
to race
Yeah.
in between. So we did that for a good 5 or 6 years and had a lot of help and support with radio control cars.
Nice.
Of course, you can't do anything half-assed, right?
Yeah.
And then
You
finally,
probably know one of my friends,
so-
Adam Drake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So finally, I had Patty wanted to go to the Mormon Lake GP. Oh, I did that too.
You raced sprint
I
cars
raced
for a
some
little
little
bit, yeah.
mini sprint cars for a couple years. They had like 500cc Java motors in this like little freaking go-kart.
I actually went out and saw those things. Those things are actually pretty badass.
They're really badass. So I did that for a couple years. That felt like I got some more excitement.
Yep.
And Patty's like, you don't belong out here. You belong in the desert.
Uh-oh.
So
I still Patty's the catalyst.
Dude, so I still had my 800 Razor sitting in the garage that we would drive like twice a year. Because it was getting kind of boring. So she's like, hey, I want to go to Flagstaff and do the Mormon Lake GP. So we went out there. She's like, just get the car out and come race. I'm like, okay. So she had never even raced with me in the car. She don't want to get in that thing when we're racing.
Turns into a different person.
She races the
Jay
quad.
knows.
She races the quad and does her race and does well. And then she had to run over, still in her dirt bike boots and that, and jump in the. She wanted to jump in the car with me. We went out there from the last row and just sent it. And we were passing guys in 900,000 cc cars and my 800 cc freaking Razor at like 7,000
only
feet with like
imagine
30
how-
horsepower, just sliding around guys like they're just in the way.
His line
know?
choice probably has to be so pristine, like knowing what he's
She's
done.
over there screaming like, you're going to hit the barrel. I'm like, no, I'm 2 inches away. I'm good.
We have
I got
plenty
2
of room,
inches,
honey.
Plenty of room. We're like cutting people off and sliding around.
Was
guys
this
are
the last
sliding and
time
we're
Patty
sliding.
went in the passenger seat with you, or just the first time?
That was the first time. She hadn't been in there too much as far as a race goes.
Not racing.
Yeah, not for race. That was the only time racing, ever. And a race.
They like being married, they say.
Yeah.
Dude, we were like, everyone was cheering us on because we were like the underdogs just going out there and hammering down.
The little Razor 800
Little
that
Razor
could.
800 that could, man. Just wide open everywhere. Sliding the whole nine.
It sounds
And
like
then we got like 8th overall at like 40 cars.
It sounds like
pro guys. Like, it was not good.
so.
It was not good. I
This
was
is-
like, I'm hooked, man. I'm in.
This is like the same story that he said when he first got on that. What was it? Your CR 150 or your
Yeah, the
and then your XR 600. Like, it's the same exact scenario, but it's now in 4 wheels.
I'm looking at all these guys, these badass race cars that we
See?
almost beat, and I'm like, man, I wonder
Same
what
deal.
I
You always
I
do
wonder what I
that. You
could
always
do
check
with
out what
that,
they
you
have,
know?
and it's like, dang.
Like, what can I do with it if I had more than 40 horsepower?
Hey, you realize that you're that badass that everybody looks up to now with this car behind you, right? That everybody's seeing. So
They're gonna see a lot more of us. This
yeah,
year for sure.
There we go.
Yeah, the beginning of last year, beginning of this year, he was like, I'm going all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing it?
He's like,
All in.
pretty much be ready.
So it's cool that the side by sides are at where they are now. It's not a fucking Rhino, and it's not a Razor 800 anymore.
These are
So
badass
These are
machines
race cars.
now.
These
They're
are real race cars.
full tilt. I mean, it's tube chassis.
Yeah.
So Mitchell hooked it up, but so. Man, it makes me happy that you're out there racing the Razor 800. My dad actually took a Razor 800S, so it was the S model, right, to the dunes last time. And God, it looked painful. It
Dude,
looked
this is
real
a
bad.
2008 Razor 800 in like what 2017?
And you're going- yeah, and you're
against
going out-
some nice cars,
Yeah.
like some really nice cars.
That's
like
awesome.
classic.
And you're driving it with line choice, with all of
Oh
your
yeah, with 2 people in it,
Yeah.
7,000 feet. That means
Everything
no
that-
power.
Everything that you learn though comes in into play at that point. So now you're like, okay, cool, we can do this side by side.
Patty's like, you need to buy a car. I'm like, I wanted the Can-Am, but I'll never buy the first. I'm not into buying the first year of anything. So the 17 models came out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna hold out. She's like, you're gonna hold out. I'm like, I'm gonna hold out a whole year.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna start saving up. And then I was able to. I bought an 18. I bought an 18. And I was able to buy it cash and go racing. I don't like financing toys, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a good
Something
way to
that's
go.
going to get fully beat
So
up.
I saved up the whole year, and I'm like, all right, let's go racing now. Gonna get a car.
Here we go. So what car was it that you bought?
I bought a Can-Am, the X3, the 18 model, and then Rob at RG Fab, he's local to me, so he did the cage and doors and all the safety equipment.
Dialed it in?
Yep, he did a good job on that and helped me
Did
out.
you already have your eye on a series that you wanted to do then?
I was gonna do it was the Cal City series,
Oh, okay.
Peralta series.
I've heard about that.
Because there's a whole lot of local choices, so that's only an hour and a half from the house. So
How much did you know Chris at the time then, Jay?
I knew him pretty good then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by this time you're like, okay, maybe I could have a co-driver with Jay?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't really know anybody else that was too close to me that would
that would get in.
I'm like,
who's dumb enough?
I'm like dumb enough to come race with this guy, right?
It's funny though because co-drivers are like a breed by themselves.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It took me a while to let go of being in control.
Yeah.
You know.
Everybody says that about me too. I'm either way. Like I'm like ambidextrous. I could go either way, so it doesn't make any difference. I could jump in the co-driver's seat or whatever and be completely fine. But a lot of people say the same thing as you, like Dramamine, like I'm not doing it, no way. Like,
so I mean, yeah, he makes it happen.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's cool. And then so since this show can't be 5 hours long, we got to like start kind of like at least chopping at the bit. Like you won races in your side by side. You like this Can-Am is like your deal, like you're going into it. Like what's the next like little milestones that you guys had?
It was just building, winning races and building the sponsor list. I mean, I couldn't afford to go racing how I know how to go racing out of my own pocket. It just wasn't going to make sense. So I'm like, well, it's
not your first rodeo though.
It's not, but it's a different side of the industry, which made it a struggle because a lot of people didn't know my background. But the ones that did, like Chris at KWI Clutching, I sent out basically I didn't even have the car yet, and I sent out like a resume and email asking for help. Just an openness thing to just let people know that might have an interest.
Right.
Chris hit me back in like an hour after I sent out. I'd love to help you with anything you need.
Yeah.
I'm like, really?
There we
go.
He's
like, I know where you come from, and you're going to make it work.
It ties all in with the stuff that I was saying before. Like, it's not just a side-by-side industry. You've built relationships your whole life, understanding all this stuff, and even your work.
And then with Kenda, we were already with them with the dirt bike thing. I brought them into the NHHA series, and then they started – we brought the whole brand for them into that series, and now they're huge in the dirt bike industry.
Perfect.
And now we're doing it with the side-by-sides. So I've been with them for 10 years.
Yeah.
So that was then. The Baja Designs was on. I've been with Baja Designs for 22 years.
Yeah.
Never went anywhere else.
Well, the only thing is you didn't run a light at that race, though.
I know, not that one. I didn't.
It's like, I showed up without a light.
Gotta keep the weight down, you know? And it was just building, and then I found my buddy Tom Morris that jumped right on board for help me with suspension. He knew my background, and he was friends with Kellen, but he had no idea what I was going to do in a car, and he was like, no problem.
Man,
Let's make it happen. So that was the biggest things to get started with. And then wheels and all this other stuff. So we started out and we started going out and doing well at the races, racing against Mitchell Alsup and Bradley Howe in the Cal City series. And we took turns winning, sometimes by 1 second or losing by a second.
Really? It was that close,
Amazing races. We had some epic battles that we'll never forget.
That's cool.
Out there. And we ended up winning 2 of those championships in a row. We did some other we picked and choose a few races in between, some small stuff. And this, I had to build the support package to be able to afford to do what we're doing now to the next level.
100%. But you had such a good relationship with all the stuff that happened in the past that people were on board, man. It's really cool. And I really commend that because you didn't burn bridges. There's probably stuff that happened that you didn't disagree or that you disagreed with people in the past. But it's not like you were like, fuck you, I'm out.
I don't think I've ever burned one bridge
that's what I'm
anywhere,
saying.
ever.
Yeah,
and I think that goes a long ways.
Absolutely, dude. It goes a huge...
and then, like Tom, he knows people too, and he asked Ibach to help me, and Ibach stepped up to help me, and then I asked Chris Worth at KWI, and he's like, hey, do you know anybody? I know you deal a lot with the G-Boost boots, and those guys jumped on board because he said, I'm help Chris, so you should help. It's just, the way the circle works.
It's awesome.
We all do our job, and everybody's happy.
Have you been a KMC guy the whole time, or have you just got KMC new?
KMC is for the last year.
Nice, dude. Yeah.
KMC,
so see all those things that happen, and even when Ryan actually came over here, Ryan from KMC came over here today, and he's like, "No way, dude." He's like, "Do you even know who Chris is?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "This, this is awesome." So he
knew me from my background too, and jumped on with the wheels when he was over at Raceline.
And so that's what I'm saying is a lot of those times that you didn't burn any bridges, you clearly made friends. Like all of those things mean a lot to people, and that's kind of the way that you started on this show, man. Like that.
I've always been pretty loyal.
Yeah.
It's
really
crazy.
loyal.
It's crazy how the sponsors are now. Like when me racing and stuff like that, all my sponsors, I always tell them, I never have signed a contract with all my, like Josh from Cryo Heat. Like he's my buddy.
Yeah.
And like he'll do anything for me.
Absolutely.
And I never had signed a contract, never did anything, even with wheels and tires and stuff that I would get from the other sponsors. I never signed a contract. It was always, they were more my friends than a sponsor.
But that mentality and that handshake mentality, I mean, like nowadays, contracts are like pretty standard, but like that mentality is exactly what Chris built his whole life.
Yeah. And that's why I said all the guys that he has had, like bottle designs and stuff like that, for
whatever
20 years, whatever
I'm
you need.
considered like a legacy racer now.
Is that like dating us now?
I know, right? It's all about that loyalty.
You really got to commend yourself for being like that type of an individual, though, because there's very few people. There's so many resumes that come across any of those guys' desks.
Yeah.
For somebody to say, yeah, whatever you need is a really, really massive pat on the back.
It's huge, and it's just nice that people believe in you like that.
Yeah, I mean, people probably.
And I enjoy getting results for them too.
Yeah,
and I love development. I love testing.
Yeah,
I love doing all that. And
you literally live that.
Yeah, I love driving and testing and developing and figuring stuff out and making stuff better and faster and everything.
So going through and telling people that you're going to get started in this side-by-side game and having that reaction, were you just like, hey, man, let's go. Let's do this. Like, this is the next thing in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I want to do this professionally one more time before I'm too old to,
you
you
can race
before he's
these
a legend.
I know, I'm a legend class racer, right?
You can race these things for a long time, right?
I know. I plan on it. I
want
to race at the top level.
Yeah.
I want to get to the top level, but we're at that point where I'm going to go all out this year, and then we're going to have to hopefully Can-Am steps up more, and we need some parts and more financial support.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that people are starting to work their way up. I think that you have a really unique story, man, and you have a lot of people behind you. I think that you should also look in non-endemic places, man. Like the reason that I got into side-by-side racing was I couldn't afford it, but Supercuts, the haircut store, was the one that helped me get into it. So those types of things with your individual story and the drive and work ethic that you have, I think you have a really good opportunity to get outside industry support. And you've already been a leader in everything that you've done, and you've already been on the forefront helping other people. So I think it'd be really easy for you to have those things come on board.
Just need to, get with the program, right?
I don't know. Not necessarily
get in with it.
Not necessarily just get with the program, but your work ethic is phenomenal already. So I think it'd be something that you could do pretty easy. But so you have done very well in the side-by-sides now. I mean, I know you have lofty goals, dude, but you got to be pretty proud of the races that you've won so far. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about those.
Like this year, so we went to 4 events, and we won the first DP4. We won the stock class at Legacy, and then we got 3rd in a limited at Best in the Desert.
Yep.
We had some issues. We didn't have enough testing on the car, doing last-minute stuff.
Look at this guy.
First
Always
race,
can do better, right?
We were battling for the win, in the class, in a top 10 overall for sure, and just stupid little things, And then we won the DP4 race a couple weeks ago with a couple big players showed up, and we took care of business.
So as a racer, when you get like, I don't know, I know that I kind of know how you're going to answer this, but as a racer, when you're going in and you're saying, okay, well, we made a top 10 there, well, we could have done this better. Do you go back and you're like critiquing yourself as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, like, you know, we ran a higher, we had issues on the last lap in the beginning, and then we ran a higher pace, and I realized I could have run that pace the whole time.
Oh.
But, you know, I hold back some. And
Is that something that you were able to pick up on too, Jay?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know when he's like, you know, kind of being easy on the car, or he'll back it down, especially if we get out in front. But then there's been times that he's like, you know, we know people behind are pushing hard, so now it seems like he's running 100% or not, you know, 90% the whole race.
100% of the pace that can be run.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, if we notice something, then I'll just say we need to back down. And
how does that work though? Like as a team, we'll call you guys the team. When you're understanding that, okay, I can drive this car at 100% of its level and it's going to survive. But then is that something that you can say, I want to push harder here? We have to change the car here. We have to change my driving style. Like, what's the way to get better?
Normally, I drive my car at 80%.
Okay.
That's the pace I would like to drive and like to race at, to not destroy all the components on my car that I have to replace. It's not even the fear of breaking down or breaking stuff. It's just the wear and tear that I can afford to spend each race. Mm-hmm. But I can take it to another level, no problem. But I don't have the budget to replace all the parts that I know are going to need to be replaced to run that pace.
I still think that's a good situation to be in, though, because it puts you in a position where you can understand how to make yourself better to make the car go faster, not just the car better for you to go faster.
Yeah, it's tying in both.
Right, exactly.
Now we have an amazing setup car that I can drive the wheels off of and not destroy everything.
So now you just
have going to be pretty nice.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. I'm really excited to see what happens, and to know that you've already done that before having the vehicle, like, is pretty phenomenal too, because it's not very hard to destroy a side-by-side in a race. You can easily destroy a car at the dunes, and that's not even racing. Mm-hmm. So for you to be able to manage a car like a Razor 800 and to now get up to this ability where you can push the car has to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome to have a car built like this that, you know,
but it's
put together.
Prep. A lot of it is prep. If you look at every single bolt on this car has been touched. Mm-hmm. Like it. So and it was just out last weekend. So Saturday we were out,
dude,
and a full prep has been done on this car.
Yeah, that's what I said when I went over the trailer to help you unload it. It looks like it's fucking brand new, dude. Yeah. Like, it looks brand new.
Well, I'm pretty easy on my equipment too.
Here we go, racer guy.
I am. I'm easier on my equipment than most anybody else.
Well, because we're faster on the course than sitting on the side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you say that, people need to understand it's because of everything that you've been through in your life. You know,
it's a lot of experience.
Yeah, you know what it takes for any vehicle, a two-wheel vehicle, a four-wheel vehicle, a three-wheel vehicle, to be able to go at a certain speed, to be able to make it to a certain point. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty good that I love that you're in side-by-side racing, because as much as you may not understand, you're going to elevate the sport just by being out on the course because of what you know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see how it progresses, you know.
It is super cool, man.
Fast.
And you're winning. Like, you're already winning, dude. Like, you're winning races.
You're going to win some bigger races.
Yeah. So
keep it going.
Like I said, that racer mentality is popping in. Ron Rice commented in and said, "Love getting to ride with you at the Dirt Rider magazine 24-hour torture test. Never forgot trying to keep up with you, Chris." What was that?
Awesome. I used to do all kinds of stuff.
Testing for a
24-hour, yeah.
What was it though?
The 24-hour torture test. I'm not sure if that was a 24-hour. Dude, we did all kinds of cool events on bikes. Always riding.
So it was just some sort of Dirt Rider event that happened on the dirt bike? Okay, cool. That's actually cool, man. So, Ron, that was cool that you got to experience that, man. I wish I could have done that. And his comment above was legendary.
That's awesome.
So, I think you are on the way to being legendary, man. Maybe it's not in the Dakar rally like you had planned on it, but who knows? Maybe you'd do a side-by-side in the Dakar rally, huh?
Never know.
Yeah.
Never know. I never thought I'd be a dirt bike racer at one time, you know?
Yep. Never thought you'd be sitting there with your wife at a new house with a letter coming to Honda from KTM.
And no job.
God, man. The stories, dude. We could literally probably sit here for another 8 hours and still talk about the stories, man. But all right, well, let's just kind of move forward then. Like, what are the goals? What is the immediate goals, and what's your maybe 5-year plan? Do you have it?
I mean, I'm not in any rush, so we're just going to run an unlimited class at Best in the Desert, kind of see where we're at. We're going to do Pro Turbo at Legacy.
Cool.
We're going to run that, and we're going to do the Mint, UTV World Championship. I might run Pro Turbo there just to kind of see where we're at, you know, where we're at in the field.
Gauge it.
Start a little further up and just kind of go from there. I'm not in a big rush for sure. I just kind of been doing the building blocks the last few years.
Yeah, and I think it's different when you can understand the way that you've understood racing from a two-wheel standpoint. You can understand that you have more time. I mean, a two-wheel racing stand is only 5-year, 8-year span, right? But now you can draw it out a little bit more, so it'll probably help quite a bit in the lasting legacy of Chris's UTV racing.
Yeah,
right?
just keep building relationships and getting more support and going from there, you know.
I think you're going to get a lot of support, man, and especially the way that you're approaching it. It's pretty cool to see. One thing that I had a meeting with the Husqvarna guys too, and I asked them, "Can you please make a side-by-side? Can KTM North America please make a side-by-side?"
I was wishing they were doing that after I got hurt. Believe me, I was already in. You know? Like, come on, I can transfer right into one of those.
That's where I was going with this. I was like, man, he must have really wished. Have you seen that KTM Oxbow that they have? That car?
Yeah.
That thing's pretty sick, right? The
cool
all-carbon
stuff,
fiber thing.
yeah.
I was like, man, maybe they could take that.
Just
same
make
motor.
one thing like that for me, please.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. A carbon fiber UTV.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get off the show, though, is there anything else that you wanted to bring up? Anything that you had on the roster?
No, I just like to thank our family and friends for just all their support and putting up with my crap and my constant working.
Yeah, exactly.
All work and no play. Actually, we get to play a lot. Me and Jay have been playing like once a week.
Really?
Testing.
So, but that's work these days, right?
I know, and just all of our sponsors have been incredible.
It is cool. You got to be pretty proud of your Blais Racing Services as well, because you said that you weren't just doing dirt bike motors or two-wheel engines anymore. You're getting side-by-side
Yeah,
stuff
we're doing some
now.
side-by-side stuff and some Can-Am engines and all kinds of stuff.
Have you done any other manufacturers' engines
I haven't
too?
done any Polaris yet. I mean, an engine's an engine to me, you know.
Right.
I just needed one to show up in the shop and we start working on it.
And it's kind of cool that you have those long-lasting relationships like Chris from Benchmark, because you guys probably talk more than you ever thought you would, right?
It's just, it's funny how you build those relationships from when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And they're still, it's like, hey, I know what you do, you know. Let's do this.
Exactly. It's pretty cool. So when you think about what's going to happen for the rest of the year, you clearly think about winning, but do you think about going and helping and being a part of other teams to be able to get a driver's seat to do like a 1,000 or a Dakar or something like that?
I would love to do some Mexico races for sure. It's just getting in. It's being taken seriously as a racer to get a chance to go in
and do something
someone
like that.
else's car.
Yeah, it's kind of funny
that they
though.
can trust you with, and my hand control. Everyone worried about the hand controls, but literally, I have my hand controls bolt in. You spend a few hours setting them up, and a normal person drives with the pedals. They're still there. It's all still there, and nothing's in the way.
Exactly.
Like me and Mitchell can team up together, and he can jump in right after me and not even know the hand controls are there. So
I wonder if it's just time, people just understanding who you are as a person. And I guess a fault of mine as well is, like, I go to side-by-side races all the time, and there's so many people out there that it's hard to know everybody, right? So when you do get the opportunity, it's just going to be one of the guys that you met kind of thing, keeping those good relationships going, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that have chimed in direct messages and stuff, telling me who you were and how motivational of a person that you were and how awesome of a person that you were. So I think you're on the right track, man. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, I just keep moving forward.
Yeah, moving forward all the time,
always
right?
Moving forward.
Never sitting still. Okay, well, man, I really appreciate it. And thanks for you coming in, Jay, and hanging out and telling stories. Do you have a funny story that we can end the show on?
A funny story?
Yeah, because we're going to play the rapid fire before we end the show, but a funny story about Chris before we do that.
No, I don't think so. Just
I'm not that funny.
He's not that funny. I got to scare him one time in my car though. My daughter actually took him around one of the loops we have. So then I jumped in.
You sat in the passenger seat?
Yeah,
I sat in the passenger seat with this
Whoa.
dude.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't know about your driving.
Whatever, dude.
I was like,
Just completely different car.
I was a little worried for a second. I'm like, yeah, let's just go. Figure it out. Let's
How'd
wing
you feel
it.
being in the passenger seat?
It was fine. I
You-
could deal with it.
You're not that into it though.
I trust him.
I don't trust myself.
I know. He started doing it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. This is a Polaris.
Oh, you guys are battling brands now.
Yeah.
That's cool that you guys have that trust, though.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat to be able to have that relationship.
I think he has to. Like, I mean, in Mexico, I think that was one of the biggest times that he actually probably had the most trust in me because he kind of let me navigate for him and
Oh,
stuff.
cool.
But yeah,
That is pretty cool, though, man.
yeah.
What kind of stuff do you guys go eat tacos and stuff at least?
In Mexico,
when you're anywhere when you're not out like in the car racing together.
Usually, anytime we
Yeah.
see each other, the car is involved.
yeah.
Some
we
way,
go.
shape, or form. Whether we're going to his house to go testing or going out to Barstow or something.
All right. Well, let's see if the co-driver and the driver answer some of these rapid-fire questions in the same manner, at least. John Lewis says, "Making the high desert proud." Yeah, buddy.
That's where all the fast guys come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All the real
dude,
desert race.
A lot of real desert racers come from there too. How about Arizona? Does Arizona breed any real desert racers? Because we got Destry. Who
I
else
like
do we
Arizona.
have? Yeah, so we had Destry, and what other desert racers came from there?
There's quite a few, dude. We had some random desert that live on the beach. You know, it's like, how do you
Yeah,
get a good
exactly.
desert racer from the beach?
So one of the guys, maybe you could actually call Destry for me because I want to get him on the show. He was always way faster than I was when I was a little kid. So, all right, you guys ready for this rapid fire? You want to go have Jay go first and then you go second, Chris?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, we'll give the co-driver the
Yeah.
first dibs this time. Dunes or the river?
River.
River too. I don't like the dunes anymore.
I was gonna say
I'm over the dunes.
after
told
those
you.
little, what do you call them, camel humps or whatever,
Camel grass,
camel
and
grass.
Sonora Rally.
No,
I
Sonora
would
Rally. That
totally-
was
We had some cartwheels there. That was not fun.
yeah.
I would totally pick the river after being in those situations too. Three-wheeler or quad?
quad. I'm a quad guy.
Three-wheeler.
Yeah.
More like a dirt bike.
Yep. Death machine all day, right? Okay, so since Roxon and Webb are battling for the championship, we're going to ask two questions. Roxon or Webb?
Roxon.
Yeah, same.
Roxon, yeah, me too. Cincerillo or Osborne?
Cincerillo.
Osborne.
You're going Osborne?
Well, my team doctor from Rally helps him out. So.
Yeah.
And he's
you
been
have
to our
it-
house before.
And you have that tie to Husky too. Pizza rolls or jalapeno poppers?
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls.
too
You
slow.
go
dude.
pizza rolls too?
Yeah, pizza rolls. Yeah.
I'm going jalapeno poppers. I'm going to be against the green guy. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee as well. You a big coffee guy?
I wasn't. The wife got me on it, but
She got you
I can
hooked.
quit anytime I want.
That's what every addict says.
I got you. Favorite soda?
I don't like soda.
Coke.
What's your favorite drink then? What are you drinking? Iced tea?
Water or
Water.
Gatorade.
Water or
He's
Gatorade?
really boring sometimes.
And
He keeps me on a diet.
so what'd you pick for your favorite soda?
Coke.
Coke. You're going just straight Coke.
The Mexican Coke, though.
Yeah, that was even
Oh, dude, the
better.
real
Coca-Cola, like the real
the
deal.
OGs. This one's a good one. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
I have no idea.
All right, let Chris answer, and then you come back.
Dust vision.
Dust vision. I think Jay
Yes,
already
That's
got
yeah,
that.
a
superpower.
desert racer
Yeah,
superpower
that's
right
already
there,
mine.
baby.
So
Yeah, Jay's already got that superpower. Dust vision. I've never heard that one, but
I'll
that's good.
freaking take down. You be the man.
I think you're more
you can see
hardcore.
through that, you know?
Yeah, you could just fly 100%.
Yeah.
Dude, you would probably win every race because every single desert race has massive
Just
amounts
think
of
if you
dust.
could go with all that dust and not see any dust, you'd be
Yeah.
fine. Just
You'd
like get
just
out
be
of my way.
Ripping. You know how many people you could pass in like the first 10 minutes?
yeah.
You'd probably have the race done before it even happened. All right, what's your superpower then? You have enough time to think
Yeah,
about
telekinesis.
it? Ooh, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, because then you just hold the car and just pull it out of the way.
Yeah.
Just get him out of the
Yeah,
way.
just
for
be
us.
like, yeah, there
Hey, you
we
don't have to
go.
hurt anybody.
always
You just
the
like
racing
move forward.
team, you know?
Dude, you guys would be the best racing team on the planet.
Dust
Just
vision
be
is telling
shredding everybody. Oh yeah, Taylor Robert from AZ. Yeah, he rips too, man. There's actually a bunch of desert racers actually from AZ now that I think about it. Where's Cody Webb from?
Shoot, I don't know. I can't keep track.
Yeah, me
Too many
neither.
racers.
There is. Uggs or Crocs?
Uggs. I hate Crocs. I hate Crocs with a passion.
I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
Chris
Because
keeps
they
the
work
same
for me.
pair.
I wear the same shoes. You know, my shoes, they don't wear out on the bottom. When the toe gets all crusty from oil, then I change them.
Yeah.
You put new ones on.
Then you're good to go.
He's like, how do they feel? He's like, I don't know. No, funny story. This is a funny story.
Okay, here we go. We wanted the
Yep,
funny
right
story.
here. In Mexico. Fresh Alpine Stars. They just gave us,
Oh, man, he's bringing that out.
So, yes, Mexico. I wasn't there, but I heard about it. And Chris, he's like, man, something's not right.
So when something's not right, my legs spasm. Like, they do weird stuff.
Yeah.
And we're pre-running for like 2 days. And I'm like, man, my legs spasming all the time when we stop. And I'm like, something's wrong. Like,
Right.
not right.
Like a pinched nerve or
And I
something,
got
yeah.
some brand new badass Alpine Stars, driving shoes. And I'm looking, I'm like, why is my big toe like red? It's like extra red. I'm like, I've been in these things all day for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I go digging in there. There's still like a little piece of little paper in there in the
Yeah.
front.
All the way in the toe.
Toes
Just
rock
All the way to the
crunch,
toe,
yeah.
smashing my toes. I was like, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, no more spasms after that. I took the
So
So
now,
random.
from now on, you make sure you check your shoes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did check them, but they were
like,
deep.
how do
It
they
was deep.
feel?
It's a good thing I get a size bigger because that one is like a half size too small then instead of a size and a half.
Now you're dialed. Hey, all that extra effort, dude. is
Yep.
gonna- okay, let's see here. Oh, this is actually going to be a good one. So let's let Jay answer this first because his is going to be different. What's your most memorable race? Or should we say most memorable race with Chris since it's his show? All right, let's give your most memorable race with Chris.
when we were racing against Mitchell.
It's gonna be the same for me.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for
This must have
what
been a
was it?
badass
3 laps.
race.
I mean, we were passing each other, and he's like, "You cannot let him get around me." Like, and Mitchell came in on the inside of us.
We were stuck
Who was
behind.
Mitchell's co-driver?
His name was Jesus, I think.
Yeah,
So-
he was from Cognito.
Team against team.
Yes.
So
And
basically,
holy
we got
crap.
stuck behind a lapper.
Yeah.
We got stuck behind a lapper, and I took my time because I'm a little more cautious than I
Mm-hmm.
should be. All of a sudden, Mitchell comes out of nowhere around us on the right side through the bushes.
Oh.
Jumps in this sand wash, and then the sand wash went up a quarter mile and then turned right again. So I was like, oh, hell no. I dipped through the bushes and went straight across next to the
So
wash.
you guys are pulling full sandbagger moves.
Dude,
Full-
freaking right in
next
front
to
of
him,
him,
it
boom.
slid right in front of him.
Whoa.
Almost took him out in the desert, and then literally the last 15 miles was wide open,
As
on the edge. On
As
the
a
edge.
co-driver,
And he-
what are you thinking when all these moves are happening?
Well, I told him, I'm like,
he's like-
don't let him pass us.
Yeah.
I was like, that was it, and then
So
we got
where
him
were you
back.
looking then?
I was
Behind
in
it?
in the mirror, but he was like Mitchell. He was like, he's dogging me. I'm like, do not let off.
Dude, we were
I was
wide
like,
open
do
through
not
ditches,
let
holes,
off. Just
everything. And literally, he finished like second and a half behind us.
yeah.
Was like
And,
the
I mean,
full-blown
got out
battle.
and
Do you think if you had calmed down a little bit, you could have got him to calm down, or he was going
no,
ball to
we,
ball too?
yeah, we were gonna win. Like
I was
he
calm.
was like,
I was calm. Like
No,
I
no, I
just can't blow
say
any turns.
if you guys slowed down, would Mitchell have slowed down? a
no,
little
he
bit?
would have
No.
blown past
Oh.
us.
yeah. And
Like
he was
taking us out.
his co-driver when he got out. He was like, I've been in 10 cars and stuff. He's like, this is the best racing I have
He's like, that
ever
was the
been
best
in.
battle. He's like, that
Yeah.
was so sketchy.
Because I mean, it was like, on their bumper, on our bumper, just
Yeah,
back
like,
and forth. It was
awesome.
Fast.
Yeah.
We were going
It
really
was fast.
fast.
Dude, that's so cool.
It's both the same story. Yeah.
So you will have a better race, another race memory coming up soon, I'm sure. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
rainbow sherbet. Sherbet. How do you say that?
Sherbet?
It's not sherbet.
It's not sherbet?
No.
I've been saying it wrong my whole
Yes,
life.
you have. Yes, you have.
My whole life I've been saying this
You've been
word wrong.
saying it
What
wrong.
is it? What's the real
Rainbow
word?
sherbet. Sherbet. It's
Sherbet?
It's sherbet. Rainbow
Sherbet?
sherbet. Yes.
Dude, I'm chocolate standard.
Standard.
Pretty
But I mean, I didn't mean to. Yeah.
If mine was rainbow sherbet or whatever it is, I would just change it so I don't have to say the
So I
word
have to
again.
say-
Yeah.
I would
It's
just go
like
with something
French
totally
or something.
different.
Yeah, that's-
coffee. Mine's coffee.
Mine's
now.
coffee flavored. Yeah.
Sherbet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Google,
I'll take it.
Google it.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. I hate cats with a passion.
Dogs, but I'm allergic. But I do like dogs.
Oh, you like dogs too? Okay. Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Netflix.
Burrito or taco?
Tacos.
Tacos.
Tacos. What's your favorite taco?
Carne asada with cheese.
Shredded beef.
You going shredded beef?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. We just became best friends, dude.
Shredded beef.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm stock full.
You're-
I
this
use a
guy's
bone stock
Bone
equipment.
stock.
Okay. Supercross or motocross?
Motocross.
Motocross.
Yeah, I knew you guys were gonna go that because you're desert guys. So I figured you guys were gonna go that way. If you're gonna, are you gonna
Rough.
switch?
Like it rough.
Yeah, like gnarly motocross, right? If you're gonna go with motocross, then you're probably gonna be like a Tomac fan, no?
I'm
Or
just
you
a
going-
James Stewart fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I was thinking about James Stewart, like how badass he was, like 2 days ago
He
too.
just ascended.
Yeah.
All right, if you had to pick one rider, like over the last, I don't know, 10 years, who are you picking?
I'm picking this guy.
No, you got to pick up James Stewart. You
Oh, James Stewart. I'm picking this guy.
still over James Stewart?
Yeah.
Nice.
This
Dude,
guy.
I think we're going to cry. Who are you picking then if you're going to pick a motocross guy?
I like James Stewart. Too.
Yeah.
He was
Dude,
just
Stewart's
awesome.
got some serious
He
talent,
brought
though.
new stuff to everything, you know?
Liz
Yeah.
Scrub.
Brought a new riding.
Ooh, well, here we go. What other form of racing would you like to try?
I would like to try like rally cars.
Like full-on rally, like
Like
World
real-
Rally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? If you had to, if
I
you were,
wanted to be
if
an IndyCar.
Going fast and sliding.
Yeah, IndyCar. I want it.
you want to do IndyCar?
Those guys are freaking bad.
They are pretty badass, right? Last question of the night, boys. And this is a completely profiling question. Chips and guacamole or French fries and ketchup?
Fries and ketchup.
Fries and ranch.
Yeah, fries and ranch. I was going to say that, too. You would have picked fries and ranch?
Yeah.
Okay, we just broke up then. We were best
I
friends
like
for like
ranch
2 minutes.
too, though, a lot.
Oh, you can't have avocados?
I
Man,
like them, but I can't.
No
have
wonder
'em.
you're just going shredded beef stock, dude.
I know, right?
So you're going, all right, what's your ultimate taco then? Shredded beef, and what else toppings are you putting on that bad boy?
It's freaking cheese and some lettuce, man. I'm done.
You know the secret.
Lots of cheese.
You know the secret way to do tacos? You know how you can order all the secret stuff on the In-N-Out menu? Next time you go to the taco restaurant, order the toppings on the bottom.
Oh, okay.
That's the way to do it because you keep all the toppings.
Yeah, they don't just drop
Yeah.
out, huh?
So they don't end up on your finger, on your shirt. You can go. So
I'll have to try that sometime.
How do you say that in Spanish?
I know.
I don't know.
I know, right? You have to go look it up. Ask Google, right?
Yeah. But they'd look at you like an upside down taco. Like, what the heck are
You're
you
an
talking?
idiot.
Yeah.
No, we don't do it that way. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming all the way down and hanging out with us, man. Like, again, dude, we should probably schedule another show because we have so much to talk about.
I got a lot of stories.
It's really awesome to be able to, first of all, share these stories, but to understand that these stories they've defined you as a person, but they haven't defined the rest of your life. You literally have your whole life in your eyes, I can tell, to look forward to. And you're not even halfway there. Like, I mean, you have so much that you're still trying to do. It's phenomenal to be sitting next to you and having that, like, outlook. It is so cool, dude.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
So, like I said, I really appreciate it. It's awesome that Jay is part of your program. He's clearly a phenomenal individual as well. I'd like to get his backstory
Like my
one
partner
of these
in
days,
crime,
too.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'm having some fun.
not only a partner in crime, but you got to have a special person to be able to have like the team that you guys have. So it's cool to see. Obviously, you have a fantastic family support mechanism. There's our
buddy Gilbert, man. He's always there for us too.
Okay.
Shows up all the time. He's gas man. Heavy
So how about we
lifter.
do that real quick? Let's give thanks to some of the people that are part of your program and obviously some of your sponsors too.
It's our family, friends. I mean, Gilbert's a huge part of our program. He comes out to every single race. I think he's missed one.
Wow.
Ever. So he's always there for us.
Michelle Buckley commented in heart, and she's like clapping.
Oh, yeah, that's my cousin.
There you go.
That's awesome. Just my new guy, Gary's doing a good job on the cars, keeping them going for me. And then my buddy getting the shop, Clayton Roberts, he's working on a lot of bikes for us and
Cool.
keeping the shop going while I'm out screwing around.
I'm sure you had tons of support while you're going through your injury and stuff too.
Oh, yeah, just everybody supports me. The whole off-road industry
Oh, that's
was
what I was going to
huge.
say. The whole.
It's huge in helping and get me back on, back rolling again and, back racing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this Can-Am for believing me and, and giving us a chance to be on the program. And, KMC wheels, Kenda tires, ZRP. There's so many. My buddy Tom Morris is a huge asset to the program. Highbox Springs, just everybody. Everybody's just been huge.
I think
Chris,
like
KWI and
Yeah.
Just when you have all that support with the best stuff and the passionate people,
it makes a
you
huge
can really
difference.
do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I agree, and I'm going to continue to be a huge Chris Blais fan, and I think I might be going up there to Silver State this weekend too. So maybe we can do some stuff together. I'll look at see where you guys are pitted, and maybe we can hang out too. So depending on where you guys are at on course, if I do go up there, but who knows? Maybe I won't go because James at IMG, one of your buddies, decided that I think he
wants
might
to beat him.
Competitors.
He wants to beat him.
Yeah,
It's okay.
but he might want to do Baja 500, so we'll see if resources are changed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But either way, I'm going to be a big fan no matter what when I see you guys out there on course tearing it up. So I really want to see you guys do as well as possible. It'll be really cool to see you racing the Pro Turbo class very soon too.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick and choose some races, and we'll see where we're at. You know?
Get out there,
Try
yeah.
to sneak in there. And,
Yeah.
Totally. And I agree with you 100% on the side-by-side industry, man. We had an awesome show. It was really cool to see those guys at Dirt Exhibition giving back to Connor and his family since his dad passed
that's
away.
awesome.
So it'll be cool. So thank you to the guys over there at PRP Seats that are going to donate some stuff. Rugged Radio is going to donate some stuff to that project, and Shock Therapy is also going to donate some stuff. And even the Desert Squadron guys, John Lewis
awesome.
jumped on board. So I'm sure – do you know who John is? From Desert Squadron? I think I might have already asked you that, actually. But you guys should link up, man, because he's up there in the high desert as well. So,
Nice.
And clearly safety is a huge
Yeah,
concern
I
of
know.
ours.
We
So,
stress that a lot now.
it would be cool for you guys to link up as well. So, John, you should reach out to him when you get a chance, buddy. So next week's show, we have another four-wheel parts show. So we're going to be at the Four Wheel Parts in Temecula, California, just down the street from here, and we're going to interview none other than youth side-by-side racer Jacob Peter. It's going to be really awesome to interview that young athlete and one of our buddies, friend of the show, and youth side-by-side racer as well. Caden Danbury is going to co-host the show with me. So it's going to be an all-youth show at Four Wheel Parts. It's going to be really, really fun. Thank you so much for all you guys joining in and hanging out, commenting in, letting us know your stories about Chris, and Nick, bringing up your brother, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And telling us about some of this stuff that he's had some fun with. It's going to be really awesome to see this guy doing so much better in the side-by-side racing as the years progress. Man, you've done such a good job already. I just can't imagine what's going to happen in the future. Thank you to all the guys that support him and his program. Thank you to Jay for supporting. Thank you to Patty for getting all this stuff lined up. And thank you very much to Regina for making sure that we know who Chris is and getting him on the show. So it was really cool that all these stars connected, or stars aligned, to be able to connect this show. I really appreciate all the audience, all the guests, everybody. Thank you to all the sponsors that sponsor the show. Thank you to Ryan at KMC Wheels for supporting Chris. Thank you to him for supporting the show and being such a great asset to make this stuff happen for you guys. Thank you to the guys over at Shock Therapy for supporting the show and giving back to the side-by-side community with the Dirt Exhibition guys. Thank you guys over at Cryo Heat for being a part of the show. Josh is always holding it down for everybody, doing all of his metal treatment. Thank you guys at Zollinger Racing Products for, again, being part of Chris's program and part of the Dirt Life show. You can use the code DIRTLIFE over at ZollingerRacingProducts.com. Save some money. Get the same parts that Chris runs on his car. Thank you to the guys at EFX Tires for being such a great part of the show. We can't wait to try out the tires that they gave us for the YXZ. Thank you to the guys at Solderweld for being a part of the show and having a first aid kit for your UTV, the off-road repair kit. You can use the code DIRTLIFE at solderweld.com and save a whole bunch of money on on their off-road repair kit. And thank you to the guys over at Rugged Radios for being a part of the giveaway for the excuse me, sorry, I've got some in my throat. For the Dirt Exhibition Connor Project 144. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Episode 82 is in the books. I really, really strongly suggest you get over to Blais Racing Services. I think there's 2 underscores in there, and check out all of the social media content that he's putting out. Do you have a social media channel that you want them to connect with as well?
It's actually my wife and daughter's. It's Redhead Racing.
Oh, Redhead Racing.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, mother and daughter team. So,
but they're part of the most vicious program on the course.
I know, right?
Yeah, so go check out Redhead Racing as well. You can always check out at the Dirt Life Show. Slide into our DMs. Let us know if you have any questions for Chris as well. Dude, you're killing it at life, and you're really stoked that you came and shared your story with us. So can't wait to see you guys next week with Jacob Peter on the show. We love you guys. Good night.
Thanks for listening to The Dirt Life Show.